like a conference call, like at your job.
Yeah,
We all sit around a table and hit one of those little what is it, Cinco,
sure,
whatever it is. Just be like, you're on the line.
Yep. Hey, could you guys ride your mute button, please? We're getting some noise. No, you go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Yep.
They need to hit their mute button. No, you're fine.
Inevitably, you're going to hear that. Like, who has their phone near the receiver?
Oh, yeah. If I never have another conference call again, I will be out of work because my work requires 50 conference calls a day.
Jesus.
And it's not actually that many, but too many.
A lot is what you're trying to say.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's one reason I do enjoy being a grunt. I don't have to deal with that nonsense.
Same.
Yeah. Don't need to know.
Well, Mr. Birds, thank you for coming on. And
What am I on? What's happening? Where am I? Yes. Hello. Hi.
You are completing the Triforce of the Crucible Radio guys now that have been on, which is a big deal. You know, getting the hat trick, as it were.
Yeah. You guys have access to unlimited power now that you've collected me. But I don't know. Answer my riddles 3. Or I don't have any riddles. No, that sounds good. Sounds good. Glad to come on. No, thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh, thank you for coming on again. I mean, we might as well just hop right in because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and I've been waiting to pick your brain on some things because
oh boy,
the hot takes that you have.
It's time to get surgical.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you're gonna surgically extract hot takes from me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, let's go for it. I have the most unique viewpoint of a guy who's slightly older and is entirely over it. So it's the source of all my power.
Also, the humor doesn't pass us that you haven't been on Crucible Radio for 3 weeks and you come on our show. So
well,
Which,
you know.
Yeah, we are still listeners, and
oh wow,
it's just kind of funny.
I appreciate that. No, I think we're all like there was that first one recently where Bonesy wasn't able to make it, and we had Cammy guest host instead. And we could have just left it there, but the thought occurred to us to be like, no, this could be the beginning of a thing, and we all get to take some time off. That sounds great. It's interesting for me to hear how the show turns out when one of us is missing, because all these different personality dynamics come out because the other person isn't there to keep them in check.
Yeah.
There's a problem with every combination of just two of us from the Crucible Radio squad. Something's out of balance. Yeah.
That's out of the 101 episodes of the RNGCast. I've only missed one?
Yeah, one.
One, and I didn't have a voice.
Exactly.
And hey, congratulations on 100 episodes, or I guess 101 episodes.
Thank you.
Sir. You are 101.
That's fantastic. Birds 101.
You are
very entry-level birds topics.
There is the title of this show. Thank you for that.
Right?
There is the clever pun that I always put. Thank you for that. Did the job for me. Super easy.
I know.
I feel like pretty much every intro bit, outro bit, and title that we've ever had on Crucible Radio were written in that exact same way, where somebody comes up with it and somebody else says, all right, good enough. We'll take it.
This works.
Yep.
All right, so I guess kind of borrowing our newer podcasting intro style, just jumping right into it. For those of our listeners that are not aware, and if you're not aware, what are you doing with your life? This is Birds, co-host of the Crucible Radio, in which I, for one, religiously call back to for you people to listen. And like I said, if you don't know, there's an issue.
Both thank you and you idiots, get on it.
What are you doing
with show, you dum-dums?
Now, there was, with the most recent time you've had Wisniewski on, I forget the other man's name. I feel so horrible now, but I'm horrible with names anyway. But there was literally a month straight I was referencing that episode. It's people need to go listen to those 2 episodes. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, man. We are lucky to have been able to say have a relationship, but really just like become friends with these guys. Like, we'll every time I'm in the same town as John Wisniewski, it's always like, it's probably not going to happen because of schedules and all, but just like, hey, we can go get a beer. Like they're just fun guys to be around. I think one of the takeaways from the Bungie community summit that they had was that a lot of people for whom like guys like Noosk or Hamrick or, Greg Pang or whoever are just like names in the TWAB and people who decide whether or not we get cool stuff. When you actually like get a chance to meet them and hang out with them, you just realize like, oh my God, these guys are the best. Like these guys think about video games harder and more like methodically than I do. And I spend all my time thinking about video games. So they're a treat to be around. And then, yeah, just to like have them come on the show and talk about Destiny, like once per Bungie interview, there's a moment where all of us are just sitting real quiet thinking, if we just don't say anything, maybe he will keep talking. He's on a streak right now. Do not open your mouth. Let him keep going until he's told us all the juicy deets that he's gonna.
Oh, that is fantastic. Which I guess hilariously we might have similar moments, so... of just kind of stopping and just let him keep on talking for just a little bit.
What the fuck are you talking about, Des? I just had one. I was like, just let him talk.
You guys don't worry about that. I love the sound of my own voice. And you know what's interesting? Like I've sort of chosen as a policy. I probably shouldn't say this on a podcast, but I've taken a different stance to sort of like interacting with the community than a lot of content creators, which is like, I'm not looking for it, right? Like I make the show because I like making the show and because I like making a thing that I would want to listen to. I don't really need much more out of it than that, right? Like this isn't my job and I'm not trying to get famous on the internet. Yeah. And so, but there's still a whole community of people who listen to the show who across the board are like interesting people that I get along with. But I kind of just keep it opt-in, right? So I can't tell you how many times people just like every day just like message me out of the blue on Twitter or on Discord and just start talking to me or start asking me questions. And my policy has always just been like, yeah, I will answer almost any question you can think of. I have some stuff around like my docs that I want to keep secret for the internet. But yeah, like, let people come to you, let people ask you questions. And it has never steered me wrong to just go as far as I can in any one conversation with any stranger who figured you're like, yeah, I better get a hold of birds and strike up a conversation. So yeah, I'm an open book. I really, I don't know. Yeah, ask away, guys. This is extremely amusing to me.
Well, that is fantastic.
Yeah, what do you got? Let's talk.
Oh, I almost want to say screw this TWAB, and let's get into our questions.
Oh, no, we can talk about this TWAB.
We can talk about it? Oh, God. Oh, my God. Now there's choices. Well, I don't know, because the TWAB actually wasn't even really the super interesting thing that happened now, was it?
No. Well, that's true.
I mean, sure, we got some cool stuff, like Bungie's telling us about Exotic Masterworks, which I'm super stoked for the fact that they are actually progression-based.
Mm-hmm.
I love this.
And they're like a thing you gotta go get. Like, they don't tell you exactly how to get it. You don't know necessarily what's involved. They're not posting any guides anywhere. It seems just like let's do something like the Rat King quest, but make it that much more intense, more exotic, please.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of like the start of the Sleeper quest, where you just had the pieces drop out of nowhere. It's like, what's this?
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's a mixed bag too, because on one hand, like adding that kind of stuff to the game, I just think is really cool. Like that's just an immersive thing where you have to be in the right place at the right time. If you decide to handle it blind, like you have a real deal puzzle in the world that, people just discovered, like they put in the game without any hints for it. People went look for it and they figured all this out and you get to be part of it. And there's all these steps you have to do and all this grind you have to do. And that is so cool. The downside to it is I ain't got time for that. I'm not. So I'm not getting any of these guns.
Oh yeah, certainly not first. That's for sure. Like I'm like, if there's a formula someone figures out, I'll probably follow that formula for a few of them. But just blindly running around,
Yeah. Well,
Probably not.
I think for me, it's like it's going to be a pick your battles kind of thing, right? Like a lot of these exotics that we're hearing about sound super interesting, but I tend to be pretty all or nothing with my loadout. So I'm going to probably find like one or two guns where it's like, all right, this is my shit now. This is about my play style. This is what I like to use. Let's do the quest for these. But the idea that like, I got to get them all and 100% that is just, that's not me.
I mean, what's the odds that Dado is going to be the guy who has at least 4 by May 11th?
Yeah.
That's a safe bet.
That's easy money, right? Let's say it. It's easy money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're going to have to commit, and I think I really respect the kind of work that Dado does, and like that kind of aspect of not just being the person who collects them all, but the person who's going to figure them all out and take this thing in the game and really dig deeper than a lot of people do and turn that into a guide or a YouTube video or whatever. Like that's what it's all about. Like that exists is more interesting than like making sure I go get every single one of them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. Because there was a lot of people were saying also that they wanted that kind of exotic chase back.
Sure.
They've been more specifically mentioning things like, Black Spindle, Sleeper, things like that, where you'd have to go out and find these resources. But these masterwork paths could very well be that kind of chase that people are really after. I mean, depending upon exactly how involved they get, which they do mention some of them are going to be very, well, basically they do say that basically all exotic masterworks are not equal. Some of them are going to be harder, some of them are going to be easier. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all we know right now.
Yeah. Well, I think in general, like the idea behind Masterworks is to have a component that isn't RNG that you grind for, which is cool because RNG can be a real bitch, right? Like just waiting for that last exotic to drop or like having to go get like how you guys feel about swearing? Swearing okay?
Oh, I just said fuck a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Making sure. I don't have anything in me right now, but I naturally my filter's pretty low, so
just let it fly.
All right. So this fucking bullshit. No,
yes, Angry Birds.
Do it.
Just like this idea of Masterworks is like you get your exotics, and that's just kind of a luck of the draw kind of thing, right? There's some quests for some, but most of them are just you get an exotic engram and the dice roll comes up right. And to have these be purely like you got to go out and get it. You want it, here's how you do it, go get it. That's a cool balance, I think. That for me is like more interesting because I don't have time to just roll the dice over and over and over again, Oh
yeah, that's definitely fair. And I guess speaking, going directly down this TWAB and also kind of crossing into also the reveal territory, which sort of, not really, but as we know, for the past several weeks, they've been giving us sneak peeks at these exotic tunings that they've been working on.
Tasty.
My God, some of these latest ones.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, I thought tractor cannon was pretty crazy because that thing. Oh my God. I mean, it's like really.
I mean, to be fair, they're all pretty crazy, but like tractor cannon is one. I think everyone kind of latched on to Borealis is like, oh my God, final round is back, and it's like there's something to be said there. Tractor cannon suppressing you, like
the fact that I read that, it's like
that shit's gonna get old fast.
Oh, it is. It will. People are gonna hate it. I mean, just like Night Stalkers and Sentinels and Mayhem. People are gonna hate it.
I play
and
Sentinel.
that's just another piece of the puzzle too. Like if you play either of them, you could throw this in your power, and there's another suppression technique. It's like I can get done with that.
I mean, Des, like I say all the time, if you play a Sentinel or a Defender, whatever you want to call them, if you're not used to being suppressed, then that's just a part of the game. You get suppressed. So.
But now in PvP,
yeah, exactly.
You're getting suppressed and get launched against walls.
And debuffed.
Like, oh my God.
And debuffed to void damage. So.
No.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And with
what are they doing?
And with the Armamentarium back, I have 2 suppression nades now. Thank you so much.
Oh, Jesus.
Man. Like the one, like they talked about it on the show this week without me, but I mean, I agree with basically everything they said. But just like the idea that like these exotics are kind of across the board nuts, right? Like these are significantly stronger than a lot of the stuff we have in the Crucible. But the one thing that I think, or that will balance it out, is just the fact that you only get to use one of them at a time, right? And that there's a lot of choices. So like if you're pulling out tractor cannon and you're just going to like, okay, once I learn which one of you has tractor cannon and, I'm watching you on the power feed, like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye out for that and deal with that because I'm sick of getting suppressed. But that also means that you don't have your Rat King, you don't have your Hard Light, you don't have any of these others. So, yeah, that's okay.
Exactly. And actually, the fact that when they started to make mention of, after the Vigilance Wing buff, and they made mentions like, you know what, we're not nerfing it, we're bringing things up. I actually thought right then and there, if these exotics, I mean, basically like at least 80% of the current exotics we have are just nuts crazy with like old D1 TTKs, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it really puts them in an interesting spot, I think.
I mean, I think it also kind of sets the stage to put the sandbox up to a quicker time to kill. Not across the board, and not a huge amount, because, like if you're getting those hard light trick shots shooting at the floor, like that's significantly more difficult to get. Like a regular hand cannon balanced against that is not totally outmatched. Yeah. But I think it puts them in a spot to kind of start to goose some of the legendaries up, but in the same way they did for all other exotics to Vigilance Wing, to sort of bring legendaries up to the. I mean, I don't know if they'll do that, but it seems like a safer path than just like we're just going to turn the knob up on everything.
For sure, and but yeah, like I said, just Borealis. I mean, because like it's like we're doing this thing with Hard Light and we're giving it the Borealis treatment. Now, double damage on ricochets. Cool, risky, and then Borealis. Oh, you break a person's shield, which they definitely confirmed at least. Did they say that right in the TWAB? Because I know it was confirmed on Twitter. It's like, no, even in the Crucible, if you break a super shield, you get this bonus damage on Borealis.
Yes. If you match your damage type on it to the shield, or kill them. When they're using their super, you get the double damage rounds. But I mean, that's a thing too. Like, I do have a topic I want to discuss, and maybe this is a good time to do it. Like we can come back to it, but like in general, one thing that amazes me, and that I've really gotten a lot of joy out of, as sort of we've all got a handle on D2 and we're kind of figuring stuff out, is I kind of think like the vast majority of players don't really know what their perks do, or aren't playing in a way that abuses their perks. And like certainly that's a big sweeping statement, and a lot of the time that's not true. But I think like probably more often than you'd think, people are in the Crucible running a subclass path, but they're totally ignoring the bonus that you get from one or two of the perks in that subclass. And so here, looking at this sniper, it's like, okay, you load into the match, you have to see everyone else's subclass, you have to figure out which one of them is likeliest to go off first and switch your damage type to that, or somehow do it on the fly in power when they get power, or sorry, when you get power and when they pop their super, and then get in position and then snipe them and land the snipe and not use all of your ammo in the process and then finish it off and not reload. Like, that's the kind of thing where I think some players are going to be absolutely nasty with it and are going to have crazy uptime the whole game. But the vast majority of people are going to find that a lot harder to do than
for sure. Yeah, your average skill bracket, i.e. me, is definitely not going to be able to do that very well outside of maybe Mayhem a few times if I get lucky.
Yeah. You can say us, Des, because I'm right there with you, buddy. Yeah. I got a sniper in my hand. I'm just bang, bang, bang. I'm going to kill him once. I'm going to get him.
Yeah, I will happily put myself in that category as well. At least with snipers. I've got my niche, but sniper is not that. So what can you do?
Oh, God. But yes, for sure, though. Actually, I also do tend to agree with the fact that not everyone is abusing, like I said, just kind of like using and abusing perks properly, because hilariously, also thanks to the recent Crucible Radio show, I was enlightened to the the good word of ricochet rounds. And
oh yeah, well, ricochet rounds are a little tricky because ricochet rounds, like that's a super good perk, and if you like kind of follow all the communication, you'll hear there was a bit where Greg Pang actually was on Reddit saying like, oh yeah, they actually do have this special bonus, and that is because of you're bouncing, you need more range and all that. Yeah. That's the kind of thing though that you kind of have to be plugged in to know that it's magic or be testing stuff. Oh. But that's very different from just like you have a perk on your subclass or a perk on your gun, and it does what it says it does. Like for me, this example is. So I've been playing a lot of Dawnblade after the update. Yeah. I may actually be a Dawnblade main, which is a crazy thing to say. I think I've switched. And for me, it's all about the bottom tree because of the super bursts are nice, but because of Phoenix Dive. Phoenix Dive gives you free health. Yeah, it gives you like half your health back, and you can use it constantly. There's like a 2-second cooldown on it. And I think on some level I like kind of knew that. And then finally I was like, all right, now I'm going to figure this Dawnblade thing out. And now I use it. Like I'll Phoenix Dive just like 1 inch off the ground behind cover 50 times a match, 100 times a match. And it is so strong. It's incredible. And people just don't use it. Like I watch people running bottom tree Dawnblade. They get into a fight with me. We're both absolute. And then we both peek and I get the kill. And I just think like, man, you should just like hop up 2 inches and then Phoenix dive down. And then like conversely, like on the top tree as well, the Heat Rising perk, that one's a little bit harder to use, but it's the kind of thing where it's like you get a significant boost. You can have way more uptime on your abilities than a lot of other people that you're playing against if you abuse this thing. And people just don't do it. And it's been like interesting for me to see a lot of sort of the D1 sort of sweat crew come back and glad to have them back, right? Like so excited to see this comp scene picking back up. But they're mechanically incredibly solid players, but they just haven't spent, at this point, big statement again, a lot of them just haven't spent a ton of time playing D2 so far and don't know these perks inside and out. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, I feel like more so than in D1, like you really got to go deeper. Like the best team in the world is going to be super solid mechanical skills, good team play, good communication, good shot, all that. But also is the team that is finding ways to combine and abuse these things and use them all game, and that it's going to be 4 or 5 or 6 different sort of meta approaches instead of just the one of use Blink and Shotgun, use Aos and Matador and Striker Titan. And I think there's space for kind of once we get private matches and like comp starts to spin back up, I think there's going to be a forum for a lot of pretty high quality players, like pretty serious players who have been playing D2 obsessively, but now sort of have a scene to show off, who know all of these tricks and who are going to, in the same way it happened in D1, help kind of spread this more interesting meta than just this is the best gun to use. Are you guys doing that thing where you just let me talk? You should cut me off at some point. I'll just keep going. You got to be careful, guys.
All right. Well, I mean, if you insist, I mean, it is wonderful hearing you talk. And also, it's we've like just last week we made mention of one of our listeners who got into us with a party, and he made the comment, which he did correct us on Twitter. He made the comment it was like having his own personal episode. This is like this for us.
Yeah.
It's we have our own personal episode with birds, quite literally, but it's like it kind of makes me want to scream like a little girl. But I'm containing myself. Containing myself.
The weirdest thing.
Tell me about it.
I know that too.
Oh, it's just like I mean, and like I hear you because I am the exact same way. I actually, at the D2 reveal event that they had here in LA, that we went to that, and it was mostly just like Destiny folks, but there was a couple strange choices for celebrities, and Mark McKinney was there. I don't know if you guys know from like Kids in the Hall. He's on the show Super Stupid now. Like, and there was. Well, it's just interesting because like at that event, I probably hold more cachet than he does because I am a Destiny person and he's just Mark McKinney, like in this specific world. But it was like the whole thing, like you could, if you just look back at like the text that I sent my wife during this whole exchange, it was like minute 0. Oh my God, Mark McKinney's over there. I'm going to try and take a picture of him. And then like a real blurry zoomed in picture from far away. And then like, hey, I'm going to go talk to Mark McKinney and get a picture with him. And then 2 minutes later, there's a picture of me with my arm around Mark McKinney, and he's looking a little bit uncomfortable, and I'm looking extremely sweaty. And I just like, I play it over and over in my head, just like, man, you should have been cooler, right? Like, he's just, how would you feel, right? Like, you're just a dude who likes a thing, who's at a place, and that is always, I know for me at least, it's always been a weird thing about having this show. Because, like, the thing is, at the end of the day, like, we're just a couple guys. And, like, outside of this niche of Destiny PvP, no one knows or gives the slightest shit about who we are. And that is accurate, right? Like, that is actually how the situation is. But then going to something like Guardian Con or like coming on another show and experiencing that same fanboy reaction that I personally have, but on the other side, it's just strange because it's like I mean, like I'm an interesting person. Like I like myself. I think I'm pretty interesting to listen to talk in my head all the time. But it's just like, yeah, we're just dudes, right? Like we're just guys, and like the vast majority of I don't know, like. Our lives are not that interesting for the most part. The only part that comes off is like this 3% of it every week that is recording a podcast that people listen to. It's like, yeah, we're boring shit the other 97% of the time.
It's kind of funny because I live right outside of Philadelphia, and obviously, Swain has his restaurant in Philadelphia, and I've eaten there a few times. And I remember talking to my girlfriend and being like, I should go say what's up to Swain, and she's like, just go say hi. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, there's a level to this. And she's like, and she's like, Buster. Well, she said my real name, but she's
I would love to believe that she just calls you Buster. That makes me extremely happy.
No, she calls me my full name, like first and last.
Oh boy,
everyone does. It's not like just her. Everyone does it. It's just like that's my, my nickname is my full government name.
Interesting.
But she was like, "Hun, just go say hi." And I'm like, "He's at work. It's gonna be weird. I don't want to be like, hey man, we both play Destiny. It's really cool. Thanks for being awesome on the show. Galley hammers for life. Peace out," and run away. Like that's what I would do. And we were on the train back, and she was like, "You really wish you said hey, huh?" I'm like, "I kind of do.
Oh, dude, you totally should have. Come on.
Yeah. And then I went to his restaurant again. While the summit was happening, and I was like, I'm gonna do it this time. And I was like, he's not here. The summit's happening. And she's like, you just can't win for losing, can you, hun? I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I freaked out. I mean, little inside baseball here. After I sent you I think I made contact with you on another Discord server, and I was like, love to have you on. You're like, hit me a DM. I'd love to. I sent Dez a message like, Bird said he'll totally come on. And Dez's like, bird dog him. Just bird dog him. Do what you do.
Yeah, that's what I typed. My immediate reaction was,
yeah, that was mine too.
But,
to be honest.
I guess. I mean, you guys. I told you guys know the game now, which is that every time somebody messages me out of the blue, it just becomes a game of chicken to see which one of us is going to get uncomfortable and back away first. So, hey, keep pushing.
Hey, I'm going to let you know this right now. That doesn't happen with me.
No.
I'm the bird dog. That's not a nickname just because, obviously, ha ha ha, you're birds. But when a guest comes up, it's like, get him. Like I say it all the time. Like I had my dream guest was Justin Sua, and we had him early, and I was like, everybody else is easy now.
Yeah,
I got a guy who works for the Browns and the Red Sox. Everybody else should be easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. Some people are very in this community. some of the upper echelon guys, they're very, very elusive. They're like unicorns.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think there's that's tough. Like there's a lot of demands on their time, and I think part of it too is like the equation is a little bit different when you're a streamer, right? Like I don't stream. I have like a couple times. But for me, like the show is my face to the world. And so coming on and doing another show is no big deal. It's a different situation when somebody has already made the commitment, and one that I think if you think about it is kind of a strange one of just like, yeah, I'm just already going to be on camera like 5 hours a day, every single day anyways. And so are understandably protective of their time past that. Or are just like hermits and go with that instinct like I probably ought to.
I mean, I don't take offense to it. I'm totally understanding. You know what I mean? Like, I understand.
There's definitely some names, especially one in particular, that is extraordinarily busy for his own good. Which I'll go ahead and say, Broman. I mean, we've attempted to contact him. They haven't noticed us yet. But, again, that's a man that is far too busy for his own good.
Yeah. Hey, keep asking.
For sure. I mean, but, like I said, Buster's not going to stop. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Not until you hit me with a cease and desist.
Yeah, exactly. Once you say no, he'll stop. But if you just try and ignore him to get him to go away, that ain't happening.
I'm gonna make you say no on this.
Exactly.
I'm a gremlin that you fed after midnight. There's no stopping me. I'm a mogwai you fed after midnight and gave a shower to. So
at this point, I feel like I'm taking the easy way out of just like, I'm gonna shower.
Yes, you did.
That what it takes. All right, fine. Let's do it.
Oh, for sure. All right. Anyhow, back on track. But ranked PvP is coming. Yes. Yay! They have basically given us a great big deal of information between Glory and Valor now. With Valor being capable of being earned pretty much everywhere. It never goes down. It only goes up. Win streaks make it go up faster. Well, I mean, it's available from Quick Play, Rumble, and Mayhem playlists. Banner and Trials have no ranking association whatsoever, blah, blah, blah. But Valor, like I said, always goes up. Win streaks make you go up even faster. They can be maxed out, apparently, very quickly. And there's certain rewards dependent upon how many times you actually, I'm going to say prestige it, because hopefully people that have played COD understand that. And if not, then that pretty much ruins my entire analogy. And basically, But for those that don't know, it's when you max it, you can reset it back to 0, get rewards, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so prestiging it can get you rewards, but of course, the competitive playlist is the only source of glory, which is your, I guess, more classic ranking style. Wins, you go up with wins, you go down with losses. Your performance super matters here. And, and they've announced a very, very nice pulse rifle associated with glory rank. At Fabled, which is their
middle
4th rank.
I think 4. I think it's like Guardian.
Yes, fourth rank. Yeah, because
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But they do say it is easier, basically, to get to Fabled than it is to get from Fabled into Legends.
Yep. So this is like your diamond or your platinum level, the place that players who play a lot of PvP maybe aren't the best or like aren't religious about it, but who just like play a lot of PvP could reasonably expect to get to, which is where I'm planning on getting with this whole thing. I have no desire to go to Master or Grandmaster.
No. I want that pulse rifle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when as I've gotten older, I have become very aware of like the presence of the grind and the role that grind plays in video games, and it still works on me, right?
Oh yeah.
I like a game with a good grind, but just the idea that's like you guys made a thing, and then you just put some arbitrary task repetition. It might be interesting or might be challenging or whatever, but like a thing you have to do a bunch in order to get the thing that we made. And just like understanding that that's the case before you commit to it. Like I hate the idea that's like they put it in the game, thus I need to get it. Because for at least for me, like that, I'm not valuing my time well if I approach it like that. I will just spend all my time playing video games and be frustrated when I still don't get stuff. And so anytime there's like, they dangle that little shiny thing off in the distance, I definitely think like, is this something I want to commit to or not? And I generally go with no, because you have to boss me. You're not going to make me jump through your hoops to get this thing. But I don't even like pulse rifles. I really want this pulse rifle.
I know, right? I mean,
works on me.
The one thing I love about this pulse, Redrick's Claymore,
Yeah, Redrick's Claymore.
Which A, the name is amazing. B, they gave it a special perk. But they gave it a special perk, much like what I liked what they did with the Wrath of the Machine raid, because it is a special perk that works off of another perk. And enhances it through that other perk. So I love the fact that they do that, and I really loved, like I said, I loved that from the Wrath weapons, because it was just very crazy and unique. And now to finally doing it again, it's like, I want it.
Yeah, well, and this is an interesting one. Like the sort of, I don't want to say archetype change, because it's not an archetype change, but okay, so you land your killing blow with the headshot. Outlaw is active. You do your super fast reload, and now your next mag is shot at the next faster archetype, but at the same level of damage, right? Like you are now putting out, you've broken TTK, right? Like you're now outperforming every other weapon there. And that was something that we had in D1 in a couple places, I think, but the one that comes to mind for me is really Tlaloc. And Tlaloc got for sure banned from comp play like right away for that reason, because you just like run Sunsing or sit on your self-res the whole time and are just like, you're hitting harder than everyone else. And I think that's kind of like, if I have to like work the story backwards, my guess is that they're at Bungie Studios and they're like, okay, people want some of that D1 craziness. They want to go off. They want some things that feel nuts and break the game. How can we do something like that? Well, we had this for Tlaloc. Let's do that, except let's make it harder to get in the first place and make it more limited there. So like both with this and with Borealis, you get it for the rest of the mag, and you got to do a thing first. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Which they also attempted this with Fabian Strategy at first, before they fixed it, when they were still splitting frames to get the extra fire rate. But they didn't change damage, but once they had to actually fix it to give it the next archetype, it's like, this is going to do less damage now, which was kind of sad, but...
I get it.
It was understandable. Ranked is coming. That's... It is going to be a good carrot to chase, much like the DFA, which I'm going to have to grind for more.
I'm still sorry, Des. I'm sorry.
Or Duty Bound. That auto looks amazing. They also make mention of fixing some of this matchmaking, as I guess DMG faithfully noted, FTMM, Fire Team matchmaking. And they, coming with 1.2.0, it's basically going to weight... It's hard to explain, but like if you're in a fire team, it's going to weight you differently than if you're not in a fire team.
Yeah. So like the more other people in your fire team, so like basically the idea that talking to people makes you play better than you otherwise would.
Yeah, which is true. It's a fair estimate. That's very true. And I just, the words coming that have been typed are just very complicated and very difficult to give a summary of, at least for me. And I just hope that it's something that works well when it ships, and hopefully it just hopefully it doesn't break anything too significantly, because this seems like a whole lot of strings they're pulling to make this happen.
To be honest with you, I'm surprised that this wasn't already in place. Like they describe this like it's a new thing, but I've definitely noticed. And like, look, I'm not at I'm at like a top middle of the pack bracket, right? Like, I'm a slightly better than average player. But what I've actually found, and this is just like, playing quick play or whatever, or like playing banner, where you see a lot of fire teams, is that, my initial, when you load in and like you check the roster and you see the fire team, the initial one is just like, oh, well, they just have an advantage we don't have. We're going to get stomped. And like often that is the case, probably most of the time, like they just have an advantage over you. But I would say for like the past month or so, I've kind of started looking at it differently, which is like, okay, they took 1 4-stack and put it against 4 solo players. They must have some system that says these 4 solo players are significantly better than the players on this fire team, and so this balances out. And like, it's not always true, because sometimes you just get stuck against that destined 4-stack and you're going to lose. But I've definitely noticed that I've been winning a fair amount of those games because everyone on the 4-stack is like, God, it's such a stupid thing to check, but like I just check to see like, do you have that Crucible Masterwork gun and how many kills do you have on it? And like notice like me and all the other people that are solo queue all have got our Crucible gear on, and that the 4-stack we're going up against is not a PvP 4-stack. They're just a team that's playing together, and that we've won a surprising amount of those games. Me and these strangers, this random assortment of strangers. So I'm surprised to hear that they didn't already have something like this in place, because I've definitely noticed times where it's like, okay, there was a trade-off right here, where like they get to talk to each other and we are just all have higher LO. I don't know.
Fair, sir, and a very optimistic way of thinking of it.
Yeah. Well, now we know it's for real, so
yeah, like for sure.
Yeah, thank God.
And then of course, I guess rounding out the TWAB, Banner's coming back one more time before one more time in season 2 before season 3, and in fact, it is this banner is literally ushering in season 3.
They better have that fucking grenade launcher for sale. There's certain elements of RNG that just elude me. Like I finally, like after 2 systems and so much grind, I finally got my Antiope the other night, like 2 nights ago. Got it. I've grinded out Banner so many times just trying to get that goddamn grenade launcher, because that's like my niche thing, and I'm good with them, and I want it so bad, and that one is just better than Flash and Thunder, and I've never gotten it. I don't know if they did sell it and I missed it or just didn't know about it, but yeah, you better sell it, and don't
give me my grenade launcher.
They're so good. They're so funny. They're such a pain in the ass to get shot with. Like that stun is it's so frustrating, and you get so much ammo. Oh, I love them.
Totally fair. But also, they are making mention that the game is Control, and chances are Iron Banner, or actually I think they're straight out saying it's going to be forever Control. Yes, Control exclusively moving into Season 3, just like D1, vanilla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which
I like it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's cool. Like I said, we've had it before, but it worked then. It could work now.
I have to say, like, of the quick play modes, I think I probably like Control second best. Like, I would rather have Control Banner than have Supremacy Banner.
Very true.
I do like Clash. I think Clash works okay for Banner, but I think there is a cool thing with Control. Maybe it's minimized a little bit when it's 6v6. But like you actually have to play Control, and like I still play with players, like really good players, who when we get into Control we just lose because it's like, dude, just cap the point with me. Just cap the point. I know you're gonna go off to like, you just got power and you're gonna run off by yourself and have this crazy streak, and I know you can see it and you think that's great, but like, you could do that, and you could get your 3 kills and then die, or we could just cap this point and win 1 team fight and be twice as many points ahead. Just cap the fucking point, Bones.
Well, no, damn.
Hypothetically.
Allegedly, Bones.
Just calling out names. Oh my god, I love this.
Well, Burns, I was gonna say, if you need some hardcore OBJ players, I know 2 in this chat right now
buddy.
All right. Challenge accepted. I would love to play like just with like a meme control stack that focuses exclusively on capping points and never the point that you're on. You just spend the whole match looking for them as they cap the point that you just ran away from. Like you just have to do with the math on it. If you're a point down, you should not be getting into fights. Don't get into fights. You will win half of them, and you will be twice as. Cap the point, people, and just like cap the easy one. Cap the easy one by yourself that no one's paying attention to. That is God's work.
And then run away and cap another.
Yeah, there you go. Just, like that for me is the best way to counteract the stacks that you run into that just roll all as a group, which is like, give them a fight, right? Keep them busy at whatever point they're trying to cap, but just have one or two people who are just behind them, who are just waiting for them to move on to cap the point that they just got out from under them every time. Like, make them feel frustrated that like, oh, we just capped that thing. Who is sitting on that right now? Like, oh, we got to go back. We got to split now. Like, that is...
Yeah, and exactly. If you do cause them to split, that actually makes the number game a little more in favor of randoms as well. If you're splitting up a team,
yeah.
So
absolutely, and I think that is a thing that really shakes teams that are otherwise better than you. Is when they're winning all their fights, and every time they look at the board, they're like, "How are we losing right now, guys? We got to cap up." Like when you know that they're saying that on the other side, they're frustrated. And they're like, "God, we got to cap some points." When you know that that's the conversation that they're having, that's a huge advantage, because that's a hard shift to make mid game, and that's a tough thing to hear. That like, yeah, we need to stop doing what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Which hilariously, I've also had moments completely opposite to that, where I thought I've been dying way too much and look up at the scoreboard and go, "How are we winning?"
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm on C, like, I got it. Okay, I'm running the B now.
Yeah. No, that's the good work. Doing the good work right there.
All right, so TWAB is over.
I do just want to say, it's not public. I don't share them with anyone, but I do write like 3-word reviews of all of the videos and moment of the week, and I generally like hate/yawn at most of them. But the winner this week absolutely deserved a win. That is a dope clip. This guy had 2 really good Devour nade runs, which is like a tricky thing to time, and I saw as he did it, it was like, okay, save your nade to eat it once you pick up power, right? Like you're using a mid-range power weapon, so pick up power, you know they're coming, eat your grenade right then, and like just keeps the Devour chain up like 4 or 5 kills in a row, and then does it again. Like, yeah, good video. That was my review this week. Good video. Moment of the week.
Very fair, sir. Very fair. But like I said, the big thing that Bungie let us know was this giant, huge, freaking reveal stream.
Yeah.
Because, my god, the things that they let us know, which at least half of it was, of course, ranked PvP and the exotic changes and blah, blah, blah. But there's some very interesting things coming about. Anything specifically you're looking forward to? Birds?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it seems cool. I think it's a cool shtick. I want to, there's a part of me that cares about, deep sci-fi stories, and so, I just want to know what is up with these war minds. I thought we were going to get some war mind, some more juicy deets before. That's the thing is, despite having interacted with the war mind several times, or at least Rasputin over the course of Destiny, we, still actually don't know all that much about them or, what their deal is. And so I think having an expansion that just, doubles down on that is cool. I'm looking forward to what we find out there.
For sure.
The PvE side seems cool. I generally play PvE stuff once and then rarely come back to it just because, I want to experience the thing, but I really need to be killing other strangers on the internet to like stay interested in a thing.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool. Cool cutscene. I like Anna Bray. Seems like a good character. I kind of wish everyone on the internet would stop talking about how much they want to have sex with Anna Bray. It's kind of creepy. Everybody, be cool, guys. Be cool. Don't get all sweaty and weird around people like I did with Mark McKinney. Anna Bray's just a regular person. But I think it's cool. I think the setting is cool. Definitely Mars is fun. Got the ice caps. There's that new PV arena, like what's that escalation protocol.
There you go.
That's cool. I hope people enjoy it. I don't see myself playing it very much, but unless I get some really good gear or something.
It does sound interesting. Well, as far as good gear, I mean, it does have really. It's like I jokingly said in our own Discord. At the very least, Titans will have a set that can match the feedback fences. Yeah, that's a thing.
Been a long time coming. Yeah,
I know, right? Like they've been just kind of out of place for a while, and now they can actually fit in. But hilariously, actually, one of the favorite things that I've read about the reveal or anything was a lore theory that someone had, and it was because Anna Bray's eyes glowed, and the fact that we didn't see, we saw Osiris wear an exotic. And his exotic was sunbracers. But we didn't see Anna Bray wearing an exotic. But they actually connected the dot and like made these connections. It's like, but wait, her eyes glowed. And that's the thing, like, what if she was either the inspiration or the original wearer of the Nighthawk? Because this whole thing is glowy eyes and it makes your golden gun super powerful, like hers was reported to be.
Interesting.
I know, right? Like, I actually replied to that tweet. And it's like, you know what? Even if it's not right, it's like massive props for just making that connection. Because as a fan of the Nighthawk and as a Hunter main, I did not even think of that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's interesting.
Des, you're the fan of the Nighthawk. Like, I'm a fan of the Helm of Saint 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't take it off.
Yeah. Oh, you like what you like.
Well, I mean, there's also been a few PvP matches where I've been told you're still wearing it.
Yeah, all the time. He does it all the time.
Yeah. Well, you gotta look. Stick with your look. I mean, it's good look.
But yeah, like I said, that's like just hearing about that. It's like, yeah, because his eyes glows. Her eyes went all weird. It's like that'd be really cool if we could actually see her wearing it or like see it somewhere near her or something. I mean, I kind of doubt we will, but that is still a super interesting, like, linking. I liked that.
It's really cool.
So we don't know, like, we also have news, like, of a crap ton of, like, exotics coming and returning. Like, holy crap.
Hold on real quick, Des. What were you excited for?
Who? Me?
Yeah, you.
For what?
In this reveal stream, what got you bubbling up with excitement?
I'm waiting to put my hands on it, honestly. Everything looks interesting, but I mean, Curse of Osiris kind of burned me on the story. I want a story that's deeper than that, but I don't know if we're going to be capable of it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's too hype like I feel I got for Curse of Osiris. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of mitigating myself.
I mean, I could give you. You already know what got me going. You already know what had me excited. So that goes without saying. You know, the escalation protocol was what I was like. Oh, thank you. You gave me the Forge. You gave me the Court of Oryx. You gave me the Prison of Elders. You gave me everything I love in one little area, and I can get custom gear. Thank you so much. That's all I needed. But then again, I also heard it's really, really, really hard.
And actually, the one change that Bungie even mentioned that they could sneak into it thanks to Summit feedback was they made it harder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So these people that played it at the Summit,
thanks, Swain.
It's harder now.
That's good, right? Like because it doesn't matter how hard you make it. Like the community will disgustingly quickly figure out the best and the best way to play it. Like, they will cheese it. They will figure out what to do. And so I think embracing that that's going to be the reality of it and say, you're going to need to figure out some cheese for this, because if you just try and play it straight, you will be pushed to the limit of what you're capable of. Like, that's good. That's a good way to embrace it.
For sure. So returning exotics, some new ones. So we don't know exactly how some of these are going to be changing. Like warlocks are getting apotheosis back.
Yeah,
I
interesting.
don't even fully remember what they did in D1, but okay.
Yeah, some warlock thing.
Thing. It wasn't a Phidian aspect, so no one really cared. Armamentarium's coming back.
Yep. I think we probably have a pretty good guess at what that one will do.
At least 2 grenades.
Yep. I mean, you can literally see 2 grenades hanging off of it, so that may be related.
Okay, that's Ashen Wake. Claws of Ahamkara are coming back.
Up
for warlocks.
Oh, those are so pretty. They did a good job with those. Those look really cool.
The Eternal Warrior is coming back for Titans.
Interesting. Don't know.
God, that face. Did they make that face even creepier?
Yeah.
I mean, that face. That's going to be... Oh, yeah, Frosties are coming back.
Frosties. Yay.
Guys, the Apotheosis Veil, when you cast your super, you immediately regenerated your health, melee, and grenade.
Oh.
Oh, there you go. Sounds good.
There's a raid thing that does that, too. That's a new one. Sealed Ahamkara Grasps are coming back for hunters. They did something with melees. Now I can't remember what.
Oh, that was double melee, right?
I think so. I wanted to say so because it was
two smokes, 2 knives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and as far as exotic weapons we know of, or at least that I know of, I know we're getting the Huckleberry, which I've already heard 2 different things about it. So I don't know exactly what it's going to do.
That's my jam right there. I don't care what it does. Like,
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's
one looks amazing, but
that one does.
Ceros is coming back. Yay. The regime. It's like again, like mentioned in our Discord, it's like, can you imagine in a world where auto rifles are actually good, how the Ceros is going to be?
Yeah.
It's like,
that'll be interesting. I never really had my moment in the sun with Suros. I never really gave a shit about it. I came into Destiny after that, like the era of the Suros regime. And then when it they redid it and it came back, it was like, yeah, this is cool, but I got other stuff. It's fine. My guess is it's still going to have that archetype switch thing that they had in the or was the focus fire thing.
Spinning up, yes.
Yep. And that's cool. It's just the kind of thing that I hope is actually useful in practice. I hope people make good use out of it. It's balanced well, and yeah, there's a place for it.
Sure. But yeah, hilariously, at least for vanilla D1, my hunter apparently used the Suros enough that even after they nerfed it, just before they came out with Taken King, they had these little video shorts that you can make with your characters, which just gave you a bunch of random stats throughout the course of your Guardian up until now, basically. And hilariously, even like I said, from vanilla Destiny to just before Taken King launched, my hunter's most used exotic was still Suros Regime. Even after they nerfed the holy crap out of it.
I mean, Des, you put it so beautifully when I brought it up. It's going to be hard for me to pick between the Suros and the Huckleberry because, I mean, it does look amazing, and the perk is awesome. And then you were like, yeah, but then again, now you have a half-dan that shoots faster.
Yeah, you can either hit like a half-dan, or basically ramp up to a minimum of 600 RPMs.
Yeah, and I love that. I love the half-dan. I love it so much.
It's so good. It's so good. People sleeping on it. It's so good.
I love it.
So yes, I mean, like I said, my only issue with Suros coming back is it's coming back, and again they changed the paint job.
Yeah, true. Now it's what, blue and gold, right?
It's inverted from D1 basically. Instead of it's now red where the blue was and blue where the red was, or oh my god.
It's like, Bungie, we wanted the original color scheme, not the original color scheme inverted. Please. Thanks, Bungie.
Yeah. Hey, at least we have the ability to put shaders on guns now. For that one, do we know? Does that one get a shader, or is it just ornament on that?
It looks like it might be just ornament because I have this rotating GIF up, and I just clicked it, and it made it rotate away again. But I am seeing the crap is that? Infuse, the infuse slot. That's kinetic mod, and then just one slot after that. So I'm guessing it's just ornament.
Okay.
Or maybe it doesn't have an ornament and it will take shaders. I don't know. They can go either way, honestly. But like I said, all I know from this clip is the fact that I do recognize both focus fire and spinning up from their nodes. They did not change them.
Yep.
It's going to be good. Like, I cannot wait to get my hands on this thing again.
Yeah. No,
watch it be the last exotic I get out of this bunch.
Yeah.
Just mark my words.
Hey, maybe we'll get a quest for it or something. You never know.
I hope.
Some path. I like when they do that. That's what
I do.
Touch.
I did like the Mida quest. Like, that was really well done.
Yeah.
And the fact that
it was there from like the beginning of the game.
Yeah. And it's like the fact it's like, oh, well, here's this Mida technology. Well, here's this SMG. It's like, oh, cool. Well, it's like a little cool little thing that reminds me of Mida. And then you finish that, and it's like, oh, here's this other thing I can work on. It's like, oh, no, you're going to let me do it? Nice. And then, yeah.
I mean, it would make more sense. It would make a lot of sense for having the Suros be a quest chain.
Yeah. Where basically you're having to, much like Mida, reforge it, essentially. That would make the most sense lore-wise, but I mean, this is video games, which developers don't 100% always follow lore guidelines,
I mean, you mentioned it earlier, and like I kind of agree with you. Like, when I first learned about Destiny, the possibilities of what could exist in this universe were it clicked for me, right? Just set my imagination on fire. And then also there have been times along the way where it's there are pieces of lore outside of game lore. What was Book of Sorrows is one where it's just this is the craziest, deep, unintelligible sci-fi stuff that I enjoy. Great, perfect.
Yeah.
But I have come to expect that for in-game stuff, that for better or worse, the target age for Destiny for entry for this stuff, and maybe this is too reductive, but it's 12, right? Yeah, this has got to be a story that tracks with a 12-year-old, and that you can put stuff in there that's deeper. You can hide all sorts of out of game lore that's crazy for the people who like that. But it's going to be a story that the kids got to be able to make sense of, and it is what it is. Fair, I just have learned to not get my hopes up too high that they're going to do the crazy mindfuck sci-fi stuff that I personally enjoy in sci-fi.
Yeah, I can definitely but it is you tend to get so immersed in this, you do tend to forget this is still a T for teen game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. They do have to set the initial bar a little low, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are moments where they have storytelling in the game that's just compelling storytelling, the thing with what's the one on Nessus where you're investigating failsafe's lost crew and you meet the captain who's the harpy. That one hit me in the nuts. That was sad. Yeah, it was sad, and it was weird, and it was very organically put into the game, and that one just was sci-fi enough, but emotionally a strong story that hit me. That was it worked, right? It fed the thing that I need to get from sci-fi. But that's what it's going to look like, right? It's not going to be the stuff where it's just hard, intense mindfuck sci-fi.
Yeah.
I got to go elsewhere for that. And that makes me sad, but I get it. And I read a lot of sci-fi. I can get what I need elsewhere,
I mean, Savathun's song is fucked up.
Oh yeah.
The strike itself. If you get into it, you're like, wait.
If you actually listen to what's going on, and then what really cemented that was the lore behind Duty Bound. And
can you guys tell me the story? I don't.
The story of Duty Bound or the story of Subsequent Song?
Well, tell me both, because these are things where it's like, I feel like I got it, but I have not gone out looking for the lore.
That's fair.
Tell me the story.
I can get the lore card for Duty Bound. I didn't memorize it, sadly.
Well, you give me the Cliff Notes for it.
Cliff Notes is basically, it is the team led by Tycho. It is a story there. But it's like they're apparently like together they're a very arrogant and cocky team under Sloane's command, and Sloane kind of like the lore behind Duty Bound. Sloane kind of has to hit him with the reality stick a little bit, and they're all like, oh, teamwork, super friends, we got this, yay. And Sloane takes Tycho aside and it's like, they're not always going to have your back. What are you going to do when you're the last one standing?
Yeah. That's good.
And then you lead into that strike, and it's like, oh, we find out what she did.
Yeah.
If you look at the crystals after you in the specific areas with the 6 crystals, there's dead ghosts inside the crystals.
Yeah, it's like the things, the formations holding the crystals has like ghost shells fused into it. It's like, oh.
And then one of the audio cut-ins where the ghost is picking up audio from the past, you hear a guy fighting off the hive yelling, you can hear it pulling at him.
Oh yeah.
And you can hear him my light, like he's pulling at his ghost. Like he grabs his ghost. Like something grabbed his ghost and pulled the light out of it.
Okay.
Which we've had a D1 lore card also very specifically paint that picture of a hive wizard skinning the light out of a ghost. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so I know it's good for me to get this reminder that it's there. It's not what the main storyline is going to be. But,
but it'll be in there some way, somehow. Yeah, they do sneak it in.
Yeah.
All right, that's a lot of meat and potatoes out of the way. But right now we got to get the actual meat and potatoes out of the way, because our little segment of the community showed up for some of these questions.
Big time.
We have. Wow. Yeah, we have quite a few questions, some very interesting topics of discussion, and
sure.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah, we will kick this off with a question from Rathos. Actually, a few questions from Rathos. What returning exotic are you most excited for?
Good question. Let me get my list pulled up again. That's a good question. So my choices are Suros, Ahamkara Grasps, Frosties, Eternal Warrior, Claws of Ahamkara, Armamentarium, and Apotheosis Veil. I guess I'm gonna have to say, Eternal Warrior. And the reason why, is that I think right now it's my Titan that I struggle the most with finding an exotic that has a play style that just talking about abusing perks earlier, right?
Yeah.
I want an exotic that's going to define my play style that I'm really going to work around. And I feel like there's some interesting choices in the Titan space, but maybe not as many as Hunters. And so I'm interested to see how they handle Eternal Warrior. Why, if they can give me a specific play style that's got some utility and it's just as good to use as Syntheseps are. I have to say that one, or maybe Sealed Ahamkara Grasps for the same reason.
Okay, I mean that's fair. That's fair. Certainly not what I was expecting.
And plus, with the Eternal Warrior, you can look like the Lord Marshal from the Necromongers.
Yeah, that too. And the nerd. Mean, what'd you have me down for? I'm curious.
I don't know for sure, but it definitely was not Eternal Warrior.
I surprised myself. I didn't know until just now.
It's like I'm sitting there. It's like, maybe Apotheosis, maybe Frosties. I mean, Hunter guys, Frosties was popular. Maybe.
It's safe to say I'll probably use Frosties the most, and I think Claws of Ahamkara look the coolest out of this batch. But Eternal Warrior is the one that I'm most excited for.
That's fair. That's fair. And what of the new exotics do you think will be the most useful / sought after?
Oh, Huckleberry. I think Huckleberry's going to fuck people up in the Crucible.
Yeah, I know, right?
And that on top of that, because it's always interesting to me. Like, there's a lot of guns that have been popular or have been like the meta go-get gun that are harder to use than people talk about that let on. And so, like, everyone's running the same gun, but only 10% of the community is actually good with it, is actually using it properly and like getting kills. And a lot of I think in a lot of ways, Thorn was kind of like that. Like Thorn was just good during the Thorn days.
Yeah.
But I think there was a class of players who are really using it to a good effect that not everyone else was. Everyone else was just like, it's just like a hand cannon and it makes your screen all weird. I think Huckleberry is going to be similar to that. I think it's going to be a hot gun and everyone's going to want it. And that a lot of people are going to use it, but it's going to take a certain class of player that really embraces the SMG play style, who are going to go off with it and going to convince everyone else that they want it.
But then again, hasn't that also been the story of pretty much every Tex Mechanica exotic?
Yeah.
Because Last Word, the Chaperone... Okay, not the Prospector. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, Last Word is a really good example of that. And Last Word has gone through a couple different iterations, but there was a phase where it's you got to be hip firing it, right? Like hip fire, abuse it, get those freebie 110s, and people just weren't using it. They were trying to use it like every other hand, or like a pulse rifle, like a scout rifle, and it's just that's not how you do it.
No, you got to get up and dirty.
Des,
more to it, man.
By the way, Des, I totally Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, the Prospector, out of my brain for Tex Mechanica. You're like, oh, wait, never mind. The Prospector's pretty garbage. I'm like, that was a Tex Mechanica gun. Shit.
Looked awesome, but
garbage.
I hope they we haven't heard about it. I hope they do something real nice for this exotic tuning, because I love grenade launchers, and it's just boo-boo, at least in PvP.
Bury it like vulture mines from StarCraft.
Yeah. No, I see it.
I've been waiting for you to get to this one, Des, because I don't know how you're going to put this together.
I'm going to put what together? Blast of Rivers, or
no, based on exotic names.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, so basically, because I understand the gist of this question, and he asked it in a good way, but I don't think that's a proper way. It's like, out of the, I'm going to say newer exotics, because considering the returning exotics, we have a good guess of what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. But out of the new exotics, what do you think? What do you think any of them, or if you have any thoughts of what they could do?
Okay, I will play this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Apotheosis Veil is going to make it so your Axion bolts leave a little patch of burning void damage. I don't know. Ashen Wake is going to add knockback to all your melees. Ophidia Spath is going to make it where if you run into one of your teammates, you get your recovery back instantly and they lose their overshield. Sanguine Alchemy is going to... that's a cloak. I was going to say highlight all of your enemies, but that's more of a helmet thing. It's gonna, what will this one do? It will make it so your there's power in blood. Okay, it's going to be a health thing then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, let's say it's going to make it so if you kill someone by yourself only using headshots, it triggers your recovery right away. And then, let's see, Oculus Zol is going to... the Hive do not see how we see. They look beyond into the infinite, into the dark. That's going to be a highlighting thing. That'll highlight enemies or something. Or like give you, I don't know, some some kind of enemy highlighting thing. Worm God Caress. Have you ever stared into the green soulfire flame? There's terror, but also something warm. That's going to do something with your grenades where... No, that's going to do something with your melee, where if you punch somebody, you're going to get a fraction of the damage you do to them back as health. Ooh. And then the worm husk crown is going to make your breath smell bad. I don't know. And like other players are bothered by it. They get a debuff that says you are bothered by this. I don't know.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Lightning round.
That was fantastic. Oh my God.
If I land
any of those come true. Yeah.
Any of those land.
I'm rich.
Oh my God. All right. So, also listener, Gorilla Golf asks, with the addition of private matches, do you see a big comp scene coming in the summer?
Absolutely. No question. No question. I think, honestly, had they launched with private matches, the comp scene would be going off right now. Scrims remain fun as hell. They are super annoying to do right now in certain game modes and just in general, like the matchmaking hack is frustrating. Yeah. And the private matches do so much to support the comp scene more than just making it easier to match up. They let teams practice together and like run through drills, let teams develop new play strategies, play with custom rules that focus on like, hey, we all want to get better at our sniper shot. Let's work at snipers only. They give you a safe training ground to like practice and learn how to play scrims without, because scrim play is sweats are different than regular Crucible. Like they're fundamentally different. They're harder and faster and just require a whole other skill set that's different than quick play, different than comp, different than trials. That you have to learn it by doing it, and you learn so much faster. And the best way as a middle of the pack player or somebody who's still learning PvP to develop those skills just in general in the Crucible, but specifically for that, is to be able to play those, be able to play with your friends, right? So you know who you're playing against. You can shuffle the teams around. You can talk with each other. Like all of the like private matches do so much for that. I think with the Go Fast patch and the exotic stuff, it's going to be like the hunger is there now. Like for people who want to get into that, like Lumi just tweeted the other day, like he's back now. He's having fun playing these.
Nice.
I think it's I think it's going to go off. And I mean, as long as we're on the topic of private matches are good for so many other things, just like exploring maps, finding new sight lines, working on your spike grenade angles, all of these things that are just a sandbox that if you take advantage of it can make you such a better player. Or just playing 30-minute rumbles, which is also my shit.
Yeah. I'll take this one. I'll take this one, Des. The next one. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bruce. Go ahead.
I mean, I'll just say I think it's going to be big. What I pray for is that that there's more than just one comp scene, that there's multiple comp scenes, and that we give I think the big mistake made in D1 was people not using their imagination when it comes to competitive rule sets. I am a strong believer that you want this. Like I'm a Serlin guy, right? Like if y'all don't know, you guys should all go to serlin.net, SIRLIN, and read his seminal article / series. I forget the name of it. I need to look it up. What was it called? Playing to win. Just the idea that like banning something because it's strong is bad for competitive play. And I like with these new exotics coming out, there's going to be a lot of stuff that is just like silly strong, and there's some stuff that we're going to figure out in the first week. There's some stuff we're going to figure out in the first month, or in the first year, or like all the way up to the last minutes before the next balance patch. I hope there's space in the comp scene to try all of this stuff and to have super OP stuff come along that turns out it's not OP once you realize, oh, if they're going to run like, Bubble Train or whatever, then we're going to counter by running this. We're all going to switch to these exotics, and get a real kind of interesting back and forth pick, counter pick metagame going. That's what I hope we see in the D2 comp scene. And I think we're well set up to do that in a way that didn't really exist in D1. Take!
You're actually changing my mind on private matches. I'm just saying. Yeah. I didn't originally see the point of them because I'm like, you don't get loot, and then you're like, well, it makes you better because you. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm definitely thinking like a PvE player here. I need to. If I want to get better at PvP, I gotta practice. How do you get the Carnegie Hall? Practice.
Yeah. Hey man, I was gonna say who gives a shit about loot, right? I love loot, but I don't play for loot. I play because I like PvP. That's specifically the thing that is evergreen that keeps me coming back. I will say specifically, the most fun, without a doubt, by a factor of 300% I've ever had playing Destiny is playing goof off private matches with friends. And just playing games, right? We played one where we played Rift in D1 with no HUD, and we all wore matching shaders. So nobody had any radar. Nobody could see if they were landing shots. Nobody knew if they had their grenade or not. And you couldn't tell who was on your team or the other team except for, do you have a black shader on or a red shader on? And it was so goofy and ridiculous. But in the process of just being a fun joke around thing, you develop those skills of oh, we have to give call outs now. Mm-hmm. Or you have to keep on shooting until you get the kill and confirm the kill instead of just going waiting for those yellow numbers to pop up. Or you really have to think about using your grenade instead of just seeing, oh, my grenade's up, I'm going to use it. That kind of thing. Or playing like King of the Hill kind of thing where with light differences enabled, one player is super duper strong and they go up against 5 players that are super duper weak, like the strike boss thing.
Yeah.
Or just snipers only, swords only, or just straight up practice scrims, but not against stressful strangers and trials, but just my buds, and we rotate teams every match. It is the most fun I've had, and no single thing has made me better at the Crucible than just goofing around there. They're the best, and everyone should invent games to play with private matches, find 3 or 4 or 5 other people, and just go have a goofy, fun time playing some version of Destiny that you think would be interesting. The best. So good.
Lazarus, the Destiny podcast stalker, he asked, that's actually said in all the love in the world, this guy is always there when you need a topic. He asks, which of the 3 Crucible Radio hosts will reach the highest comp ranking first, and why is it birds?
Oh, it's definitely not birds.
Well, he thinks it is. You have big shoes to fill.
I will take that as a compliment. No, it'll be Bonzi. That's interesting. And that's something that I think we've had to be real with is we all have our weak spots and our strong spots as a player. I think just in terms of pure mechanics of just being able to work a controller, get kills, move fast, go on tears, and go the fuck off. Bonesy's just a categorically better player than Swain and I in that regard. But he has a weak spot too, right? He has, that can get you into trouble when you go for the glory instead of playing with your team. And your goal is not to get kill streaks, but to win. And sometimes, you got to be boring and play with your team. I know for Swain, Swain is a rock. He develops a play style. He learns it inside and out, and then he goes the fuck off with it. But at the same time, Swain, like me, just doesn't have that magic thing that Bones has, just that pure mechanics. And I know for me that I'm a player of extremes, right? When I'm in my element, when I'm in the fucking zone, I'm actually pretty good. I always impress myself sometimes when I'm locked in, I've got my loadout just right. I'm focused. I'm sort of passive mind, flow state, doing all the right stuff and going off. But I just as easily can play like total garbage, and I don't often predict when that's going to be or not. Yeah. So in that regard, I think Bonesy is going to hit that comp rank first because if you just consistently play well, you're going to climb the ranks. I wouldn't be surprised if I were last. Like Swain knocks it out. I'm a pretty inconsistent player. I just physically am not capable of playing video games for more than like an hour or two in a row, and not every night of the week. So yeah, just in terms of like putting in the hours, I'll probably be sliding into that fabled rank right near the end of this season. But hey, I appreciate the sentiment. I will take that as a compliment.
Now, Des, Birds gave me an idea. How he just broke down the play style of Swain and Bonesy. I mean, I could down. I know your play style. We played many games together. I've downloaded your play style. I know how you play. I mean, together we are pretty in sync with each other.
Yeah.
I want you to put in the words my play style, and I'll put in the words your play style. Ready?
I like this.
This is the best. Look, this is going to be the biggest compliment for Dez that I could give him. Okay, and I've been with, I've known him for I've talked to him every week for 101 weeks plus off air stuff. Dez is the quiet storm. Okay, Dez is what happens when you summon Shenron and come with a bitch ass wish. Dez will get you. Okay, if you're not, here it is. If you're not on your P's and Q's, Dez will get you. If he can outplay you with a gun, if he knows what gun you're using, he knows that the range it falls off, and he'll stay right outside and just fuck with you. Like, he's cerebral like that.
Love it.
And it gets me, and I love playing with him because he's like, Buster, watch out, this guy has this. Stay right here. And I'm like, gotcha. And I'm like, all right, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got your back, you know? And I think I'm a little bit like you, Birds. Like, I'll hit like a flow state where I'll be like Will Ferrell from Old School. I'll just blast off, and I'll be in some like weird matrixy flow state where I see different colors and I see numbers instead of letters and letters instead of numbers. I can smell taste and taste smells. Like, it's just craziness. And then I'll be like, oh, what happened? And I'll just shoot a brick.
Yep.
But Dez is there to be like, you got this. You're there.
It's a beautiful thing.
Take this B flag, Bust. Take this B flag. You got it. I got your back. I'm right here. And then there's sometimes that Dez will be like, I'm dead. And I'm like, nope. And I'll just be there at the right time. Because somehow in my mind, I'm always looking for his name. And that's what I think it is. Like, go ahead, Dez. I want to hear how you break down what I am.
Essentially, if you remember how they spoke about the design philosophies for the classes, if you remember what they've said about Titans, that's Buster's comfort zone. Buster is a breach and clear. He is comfortable, centimeters from your face, to where you don't know, like just blitzkrieg, rush, get in there, and get in their face and try and like knock them off balance right then and there. I mean, he's, like I said, pretty much hyper aggressive, but not too much. Because, like I said, he still gets like a sense of like the danger and such, so he knows important times when to pull back. But like I said, he's like super comfortable, like right there, nose to nose with you. So yeah.
All right, that's good. I think everyone should do this, right? And I think, I mean, we talk about it on the show. It's an old chestnut, but like, if you are curious to know what you're surprisingly good at, and also what like incredibly stupid mistakes you seem to keep making, record your gameplay and watch it back. Literally, just watch one game, and you'll see like, oh my god, I'm so dumb. Why do I keep doing that? Why do I? And like, I know what I was thinking at the time, and I was clearly thinking the wrong thing. Like, I remember that moment. Why do I keep doing that? And that's tough because like, I definitely I'm a high risk, high reward player, and watching it back and realizing, okay, if that's how I'm if that's how I naturally am, then I need to work on the other side. I need to work on consistency. Yeah, and it's good just to have a story too, like, and have that resonate in what class you play and what gear you use. I think, yeah, it's a fun way to play a game like Destiny.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I also know I'm a hype bro. I know that. Yes. I know. I'm the Flavor Flav of the group. I will get everyone hype. I will have everyone smiling, even if we're getting stomped. Everybody's like, you know what? I don't care about we got beat. I laughed the hardest I've ever laughed. I'm like, I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Exactly. It's like, that's also an incredible comment I've had about my own playstyle. Like, just not really playstyle, but I guess my attitude while playing, just in general.
You don't rage, dude.
I'm beautiful. I'm usually very calm because I mean, instances in life taught me basically attitude control, and I mean, so in the competitive, thinking, it's like that's the one thing that can really start you like down spiraling.
Yeah,
and like playing basketball in high school or junior high or whatever, whenever the crap that was, like 18 years ago. My God. Anywho, but yeah, that's the one thing, you got to keep like a level head and like keep your head in the game essentially. So, and I have kind of a catchphrase. It's like, yeah, that's fair. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. That's cool. All right, that's fair.
That's a good catchphrase. No, that is an extremely useful catchphrase. I think my version of that is like, because I can get a little hype sometime. I think I can tap into some real good playing when I'm hype. But like, I've just learned my version of that, which is if somebody on the other team kills me and it's a good kill, like I get as hype as if I did the kill. Like if you kill me in a hilariously good fashion. Like, okay, that I don't like dying, but that's extremely funny. Okay, I'll give you that. That's a great kill. But yeah, like that thing you're describing of just being a cool operator, right? Like somebody who you can count on to be consistent, whether it's boring time or whether it's a moment where you have a good reason to panic. Like that is super duper valuable in gaming and in life. So
the quiet storm. That's why I said it. Quiet storm. I chose my descriptor very carefully with that one.
Well done.
Yeah, this is also like actually a very interesting topic for discussion from Fred Bob Bazooka, the man with two first names.
Fred Bob Bazooka.
Let's see. Oh yeah, why does Bungie hold a community summit and then prevent anyone from intending on providing any details about what was discussed? Which is fair. I mean,
I think
an outside perspective is like a very fair question.
I mean, like I will say what I will say in the Birds episode, Crucible Radio number 75, because Bungie is a business, right? Like, and it's easy to lose track of the idea that we have a complex relationship to Bungie, and sometimes it feels like they're the ones who make the thing, and we paid the money, and so we deserve this thing. Like, you guys need to give me the game that makes me feel complete as a person, and if it doesn't have the thing that I want, like, that is a grievous offense. But Bungie's a business, right? Like, they're a game studio with a single game that they're putting all of their stock in. I think they had this community summit for a very specific reason, which is that the people that were the biggest advocates of D1 over the course of D2 became the biggest detractors who were leading the charge of fuck Bungie.
For sure.
Like, and I'm not going to get into that. Like, personally, I think it's a little bit silly to like play a game that you don't like and get angry about it, because it's just like, I ain't got time for that. Let's just play a different game. Or like play the parts of it that you like, don't play the other parts. The moment it gets boring, find something else. But they had a specific problem they needed to solve, which is that a lot of voices in the community were actively going on their stream, going on their shows, going on whatever, and saying like, fuck Bungie. Bungie betrayed us. They make bad games. They don't know what they're doing. They're incompetent. And like, this is a caricature, right? Like, people are more nuanced than this, and this is a very small percentage of content creators in general, and definitely a small percentage, if at all, of the people who went to the community summit. But I think it's important that you have that reality check, right? Of even if you like to take people in that situation who are so used to being on the player side of it and being advocates for the player, which is an important thing, but putting them in a situation where it's like, yeah, come inside, see the chocolate factory, and get a sense of how fucking impossibly hard it is to build good games like this.
Best reference ever.
Yeah. Like, even if you don't get to take any of it back out into the world, you will go back out into the world with a different attitude of like, hey, I still don't like this, this, and this. Totally fair. I still think that this, and this should be the top priorities, and we need them. But hey, I've been reminded that there are real people who love Destiny and who are obsessed with gaming and like it in a way that I think people don't often understand, have literally devoted their lives to studying and building good games. And give them more of the benefit of the doubt of like the reason that XYZ wasn't in vanilla D2 launch is not because they didn't think it was important or they didn't like it or because they're, Activision paid them off to make the game bad or whatever the theory is. It's because they couldn't do it. They wanted to and they couldn't, and they're sad and they've been like busting their asses. And so I think what we see coming out of it is that a lot of people who were pretty critical voices before are still critical voices, are still providing feedback, but it's tempered now by the sense that like, oh yeah, I know what it takes to pull this stuff off. I have like specific ideas. I'm going to talk about this a little bit differently. The reality is that the kind of stuff that they saw that they can't talk about on a pretty short time frame, right? Like this stuff is coming out soon, right? Within 6 months, we will know everything they did. So we'll see it leak out. But no, they did it to deal with the PR problem, and I think they did a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, for sure. That, and I mean, you can't see like what all was discussed, but I mean, one thing that people are capable of talking about is usually like, it's like, oh, well, I heard somebody ask about this, and I asked about this. It's like I said, they can't really say exactly what was said in that conversation. But they can, like, at least I've been seeing, like, a lot of people, it's like, well, this was spoke on, this was spoke on, and this was spoke on. So, I mean, you get a good idea, at least, of what was talked about. Mm-hmm. I mean, at least the basic silhouette of the picture behind everything. So, I mean, that and I think one of my favorite things that came from I can't even remember who it was, but they made mention, it's like the only... Because maybe it's like the one thing I'll say about the summit is it's like I think he was talking about weapon slot changes or something, and he made mention like they're not doing the D1 thing, and I'm totally psyched about what they're doing.
Yep,
that's all. And it's like,
yep, great.
Oh, okay. Well, this actually makes me interested then.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the thing, right? Like to do whatever the D1 thing is just like the most boring possible choice, because it's like here's the thing is like it's easy to get your rose-colored glasses on about D1, but everyone fucking hated D1 at the time, right? Like,
see, that's one thing we definitely try and say. Also,
like you
remember when?
Right?
You actually remember when?
Yeah, everyone hated everything all the time, and so to go back to that is no. And also, just like I wouldn't want it, right? There was nothing in D1 that I missed that I would want back instead of a newer, cooler, reimagined version of it, even if it falls flat out the gate and it takes them a release to get it right. I'd rather have them innovate than try and go back there. And the weapon slot thing change, whatever that is, I think it's going to be the kind of thing where it's got elements of what's in D1. It doesn't betray the choice they made for D2, which I think is certainly not perfect and not complete and missing some stuff, but was a cool, interesting, valuable evolution. And what we're going to end up with is going to be some crazy combo of those two things plus some new thing, plus this just happened one day and we're going to go with it because it was the most fun we've had. Like, that's a cool place to go. That's what I want a game studio doing is you draw from the past, you innovate, you try weird shit, and you see what sticks, and you make something new. Like, good, let's play it.
You want me to take this one, Des?
You go ahead.
From Gorilla Golf, you're going to hear his name a lot.
Yeah. What's up, Gorilla?
What addition/change would make you the most excited for the September DLC? His examples: a new subclass, new trees in a subclass, or a new weapon type. That's just his examples. What would make you the most excited?
I don't think I want a new subclass. I would love new trees in a subclass. I think as soon as you have more trees in a subclass and people really start playing them, like you start making conscious choices, and that thing I keep talking about, like you start playing your perks. By the way, Plug to my new favorite Destiny YouTuber, Special K Dude. I don't know if you guys have checked him out. Go look him up. He's on YouTube. He posts on the playbook. He makes these fantastic videos that are about exploring and demonstrating how these perks work and how you incorporate them into gameplay. Go check him out. But I think new subclass paths would be the kind of thing where now we're really in a spot where there's some real play, counterplay kind of stuff. That if you think about comparing Destiny to a game like Overwatch, which has like 20 or whatever characters they're up to now, 25, that we kind of have that, right? We have 9 subclasses. If we have 3 paths for each with their own playstyle, that's 27 different characters you get to play, basically. And they all have their own feel. They all have things you need to watch out for when you're playing against, and they all have things that you abuse and that inform your play style when you're playing it. I think it's going to make the idea of team comp a lot more interesting when you're going into a competitive mode and you're trying to figure out, what your team needs and what your options are, or what you need to start doing because the enemy team is playing in a certain way. And also just like I'm kind of bored with these current subclasses. I think that will be one for me. New weapon type I don't particularly need. I mean, I like the options that we have now. I would love to see a primary viced weapon, or like a kinetic viced weapon, although I've been told that's not going to happen. Honestly, what I want to see, like aside from the subclass paths, I want to see new. I'd love to see a new enemy type, like a real new, from the ground up, brand new character, new enemies, new lore enemy type. And I would love to see more gun and armor models. I don't mind reskins. I understand the reasoning behind it, like it's a necessity. But I'm just like the Taken already were kind of pushing. I'm like, okay, they do play differently, right? But like, if I've got to fight one more fucking Centurion, one more fucking Thrall, like, come on. There's a big universe full of things to kill. Give me some totally different thing to go kill. I don't need the Taken or the Siva infected or the ice frozen version of these same idiots I've been killing over and over. Like, give me a new one, right? Like, give me a corrupted Guardian or something like that, or give me like some kind of like Elephant Man. Not elephant. I'm not referring to the movie. I just mean like elephants and they fight you in space. Or like I don't know, like a lizard guy or something. Like, like that's what I would like to see. That'll tickle my fancy for September. What about you guys?
Des, you got something?
I'm not even incredibly sure, because I know, like, definitely a new, like I said, a completely new enemy would definitely be super interesting. We had some ideas getting tossed around in Discord at one point in time that actually made me incredibly. I would like to see like some different like subclasses, like maybe some different elements applied to things, to create like new and interesting things. Like when they brought out the subclasses for the Taken King, we kind of had like an identity for how solar, subclasses worked and how void subclasses worked and things like that, and just. I feel the Taken King subclass just kind of slightly turned them on their ear a bit and had them functioning just slightly differently. Mm-hmm. But and of course people have had like the whole darkness / corrupted power source or whatever. But interestingly, it might have been Burning Wing, that popped in an idea. Is like, what about a Siva subclass? It's like that would be It's like, oh my god! It's like just the thoughts that would be like,
we got to use it. Yeah, like a nanotech, no element, like an artificial element. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So just getting like that being said, it's like I have no idea where to start on how to imagine it, but oh my god, that just sounds amazing.
Yeah, I would be down with that.
For me, I would say, I mean, you guys pretty much nailed. More trees would be great. The Siva class. When I saw that, I was just, my mind started running. So I'm just going to go a little off kilter. I want to see like interchangeable perks in exotic armor. Like I'll use, the Helmet Sting 14. It's right off the top of my head. It's the easiest one.
Yep.
Give me Weapons of Light. or give me something totally, something like that. You know what I mean? Like I could choose either I want blind or I want this, or leave the blind and give me this instead of, because you get armor of light base anyway. Like when you're inside the bubble, it's armor of light. You have armor of light basically. Instead of armor light, give me increased melee damage or increased knockback with my melee. So if you come in my bubble, I'm gonna knock you out of my bubble, type of thing. Let's change the way people think. Like if I'm running Helm of Saint 14, not to come in my bubble. You see it.
Yeah.
And now you're like, wait, is he running armor, or is he running, if he punches me, he's gonna knock me off the map? What's he doing? Kind of make people think a little bit, put them on their heels. That's what I want to see.
Dig it. I was just thinking about that. Is Suros Regime the first? It can't be the first exotic in D2 that has a switchable perk.
No, that would be Hard Light.
Okay, Hard Light.
Because Hard Light is, technically Borealis and Hard Light are tied, but before Hard Light, you literally had to go into its tree to change its element.
That's true.
For its perk.
True.
So,
and there's like the armor perk switching, but like, yeah.
But you're also I'd like not switching the exotic perk.
Yeah, right. You're it works the same way, but like, yeah, there's a big. I would to have like an alternate, like similar, like you described, like an exotic perk with a similar flavor, like matching sort of, the enemy can think of like, hey, stay out of bubbles as being the theme with different versions, but having some configurability there, that'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Fun.
All right, so again from Gorilla Golf and kind of circling back to the summit, but do you feel that the right mix of community members were invited to the summit, which he personally would have loved to see fall out there? But do you think that this was what?
I think I was a pretty clear advocate that Fallout should be there.
Yeah,
but like it's the kind of thing. I feel empathy for Bungie's position, which is that there's no way you can win with a situation like that. Like you have a limited number of spots. It honestly doesn't matter how many spots there are because they're not renting out a warehouse like the reveal event. That you have to pick people. There's aspect of a popularity contest thing that happens. There are people who get left out for super mundane reasons that are businessy, or like, we're going to do another one of these and it's going to be themed like this and we think they'd be better for that, or just didn't fit in. That's tough. Like, and you just have to like put together the best list that you can and take your lumps because people are going to be upset no matter what. I think they had a pretty good mix. I think they clearly were up on a whiteboard going like, okay, we've got 50 boxes we need to check and like 20, 30 people with which to check them. Mm-hmm. So I think they did a pretty good job in that regard. Yeah. I don't know. I wish I could have gone. Although at the same time, I don't like, I'm a little too antisocial for a thing like that. So.
I know, right?
We'll see.
But yeah, I was actually surprised by the mix of popularity or renown, should I say, that they really like invited people. Because of course, you expected like some of the bigger names,
sure,
in the Destiny community, and I heard like Arrow Knight from DRP got invited. It's like, well, that's cool. He's like mid-level in popularity. They had to blow up, and yeah, makes sense. And then I know for sure Lost Souls, friend of the show, actually also made it, which kind of, I could be wrong, but I kind of felt he was a little kind of under the radar for Bungie normally. Sure. It's not an insult because, obviously we're definitely way under the radar for Bungie. So, but yeah, that's just, yeah.
That's interesting. Like, I think that was a nice touch, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, there's a golden ticket aspect of it, but I think also one mistake that the Destiny community makes over and over and over again is listening to an outsized degree to those most popular people. Exactly. And like they deserve to have a big voice, right? Like, they're big for a reason. But at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that they advocate for that makes sense if you're a streamer who's streaming 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Like, the stuff that is important to someone who's in that mode is going to not work for large chunks of the community. Because I look at myself, like, I don't know, I get an hour in, right? Like, that's how I play Destiny. It is not a lifestyle thing for me, except in the sense that, like, it is my sit down and unwind after a long day, and I'm not a completionist. I don't have time to grind it out. I don't want them to build a play style where I'm fundamentally at a disadvantage in the Crucible because I haven't been able to put, 200 hours into some specific chase or something.
Yeah.
And so I think having people that cover all levels of the, like, hardcore to the, like, goofy fun to the casual to the people who are in it specifically because they care about something like lore, or they care about specifically PvP or specifically raids, or people who are just, like, likable people who run the gamut, or who are scientists or just fun YouTubers. Like, I think it's important to check all of those boxes because all of those people represent different segments of the community that I think get washed out when you just listen to those biggest name full-time go crazy streamers.
Exactly. Because one thing I had, like, a minor issue, of course, is, when they first announced it, it's like, we're going to be inviting the community leaders, and it's like,
that's a bad way to phrase it.
Yeah, I was picturing, the big names and who's considered the community leaders. It's like, but like I said, hearing, like, the range that they added, it's like, that's a fair move, Bungie. That's a fair move.
Yep. I mean, look, the important thing to remember, like, I feel fairly confident saying this, is they did not have this event to build hype for the next release.
Exactly.
They did not have this event to get feedback. Like, they got feedback, but that was not the main reason they had it. They had it to acknowledge all the different parts of the Destiny community, bring them into the fold, and, like, have a reality check with them in a way that they could take back to their audiences. That's why they had this event. And so in that regard, I think they did a pretty good job. Mission accomplished. They got a lot of good feedback out of it. They got some hype built for the next thing. They did all of those other goals, but they solved the PR problem. And you shouldn't be surprised for any of the choices that they made if you realize that that's what their goal is.
Yeah, for sure. But and definitely agreed. So again, Guerrilla Golf. This is I personally kind of love this question, but if all the Destiny podcasts were enter a PvP competition, would Crucible Radio be victorious?
I hope this doesn't happen.
Or would another cast take the crown?
Oh, somebody was just asking this on Twitter today. I personally don't enjoy public competition. I don't like exhibition matches. I don't like playing in them. It's not fun for me. I don't want to have, and it's like, it's all in good fun and we have a good time with it. But, like, I just don't particularly enjoy being judged on my play style or, like, how I do in, like, 3 matches, the whole bragging right things. Like, I don't want to rub anyone's nose in anything. I don't want my nose rubbed in anything. And I know that, like, it is a luck of the draw. If I am hot that night, I'm being, like, my most birdsy psychological headfuck play style I can be, or I just make a bunch of dumb mistakes and get mapped. Like that kind of thing is frustrating. I think were we all to play as our best selves, I think CR probably would not win. We're pretty good. But one thing that's been interesting to me is, like, the best team that you put together out of, like, the people that we play with is going to be different for each of us, and it's not with each other. Like, the 3 of us, I think we cover a lot of gamuts, and in pairs we work really well together. Yeah. But the 3 of us as a team by ourselves is just not the strongest team. We have different play styles, and we win in different ways. We have different vibes and pump each other up, pump each other down. That, I think if we could build, like, a pair of teams and bring in all the friends of the show and have, like, Keen there and have Fallout there and, like, have these guys to fill out our team, I think we'd have a fighting chance.
So you're stacking the deck? Is that what you're saying?
It's not that. It's just that they cover specific things that we don't have between the 3 of us. Like, Keen is a technical player, right? Like, he would be a fantastic poker player because Keen Koala's job is to develop a super aggressive play style that just gives you a 3% edge and do it over and over, be relentless, force people to make mistakes. He gets a lot of kills. He also dies a lot, but he's just pure pressure in a way that none of the three of us are. Somebody like Fallout is just like, Fallout is a great consistent sniper shot, and Fallout is a good tactical player. And he's just like a bear. He's just like easy to get along with. And I think there's things like that we need to round out our team. It's not just about like we need good players because we're not good enough. There may be some small component of that. But yeah, it's like you need all these different elements to build a good competitive team that's fun and that can weather a lot of different scenarios together. And that's why they're such close friends of the show and why I love fucking spending time with them.
Yeah, Keen actually is coming on next week.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. You probably would not appreciate me leaking this. Maybe you guys just got to talk to him about it next week. I'm going to try and say as little as I can, but Keen Koala in Q1 had an incredible show called Crucible Boot Camp that, along with private matches and watching your gameplay, watching Crucible Boot Camp will just overnight make you a next level player, like a whole level up from where you are. And I heard some of the stuff that he's got in store for season 2 of this thing, and you should ask him about it. He's got some cool shit getting put together.
Wrote it down in the book.
Yes. Ask about Crucible Boot Camp.
Yep.
We're definitely also going to be throwing you under the bus when we ask about that. It's like, Birds told us a little something.
Go ahead and blame Yes.
Let's see. Where did I lost it? Oh
Lazarus.
my!
I got it.
I know it's Lazarus. There's like freaking Okay, there it is. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's vacation time. Where do you go on vacation? Why?
I just took. So I am. I'm a workaholic. I hate it about myself. I'm obsessed with work. I've also gotten myself into a situation where it's risky for me to take too much time off in a row. And I had a horrifying realization that I have not taken, I took 2 weeks off to get married 2 years ago. I've not taken more than a day or two off in a row since then. It's fucking horrifying. So yeah, I just need vacation in general. I actually took a vacation recently and I didn't go anywhere. I had one of my oldest friends come into town. She flew down and stayed with us for 4 days. And I just bought a house, and we spent the whole time just exploring the neighborhood and working in the garden. We built a garden, and it was the best. So I would say staycation would be first option just because there's so many projects I have here that make my day-to-day living situation better that I just don't have time to get to that are always my go-to if I get time off. But in terms of vacation, it depends. I would I never as a young man did that European adventure. I'd like to do it and see the old country. I would love to take a Route 66 road trip. That's a part of America I've never seen and would like to experience firsthand. I'd like to go back to Hawaii just because I lived there and I got a bunch of friends there that I'd like to see and a couple beaches that I need to go to. I also, once a year or so, just need to go out into, not nature, not camping. I'm not that guy. I'm an indoor cat. But go out into an epically beautiful place in the middle of nowhere and get extremely fucked up on drugs and discover who I am all over again.
I deep down inside think Birds and I are long lost twins.
Yeah.
Because I hate camping with the deepest pits of my soul. But I like doing psychedelic drugs, like you just said.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that.
I generally don't reveal that part of my hand, except in the most oblique ways on the internet. But yeah, I just have had a couple really fantastic heart to hearts with God, literally. Had a nice chat with God and be don't be upset with me, God. We're okay, right? Oh no, I see what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense. And that kind of thing recharges my batteries. Or just getting fucked up and playing music really loud and dancing in the woods is a real nice experience. So yeah, I think I'm overdue for one of those. Go think about life, the universe, and stuff.
Fair enough.
This one made everyone. Dez's reaction to this, I think it was Dez's reaction to this one. I saw it and giggled. Isacole, she said, "Will you 1v1 me? Seriously, let's go."
No. Fuck off. Okay, no, you know what? If you want to DM me and have a 1v1 conversation where we find out who each other are, then go for it. If you want to queue into Rumble because you know I'm going to be there and lose to me in Rumble, that's fine. But yeah, I for the same reason I don't like exhibition matches. I don't like settling scores in the Crucible. It's about it's about psychological validation, not about who wins. And also, I don't know if I'm playing well or not that day, so I don't want you to be able to tell people that you beat birds in the Crucible. Bad enough as it is.
You got the next one, Des?
Yes, I can get the next one.
Go ahead, buddy.
For sure. Because Lazarus, yes, our friendly soccer Lazarus asks, since trials are 4 people, if the 3 Crucible Radio hosts got together, who would they absolutely love to have as a 4th on their trials team?
Oh, no question. Joey, man. Joe overrated. Joey fucking kills it. And also, he makes sure that we win. Now, we've played with a lot of people. I've met some good people and played with a lot of people. But I think specifically for that trials one, Joey's the fucking best. He's bottled sunshine. And he's the person you want on your trials team. No question. Check him out, twitch.tv/Joverated.
Fair enough.
Drafty974 asked, how did you come up with birds? And then he asked, are your bones hollow and frail? I don't think that's...
No, I'm dense, man. I don't float. It's just, I don't know if I've ever talked about this one.
Certainly can't remember.
Have you guys seen the movie Donnie Darko?
Yes.
So there's this moment where Drew Barrymore, who's the teacher, writes on the chalkboard the words "cellar door" as just the most beautiful pairing of words in the English language. And it ends up like being a plot point. It's a thing like Donnie Darko. But I got to thinking about that like I don't necessarily need a name that comes with a lot of connotations. I'd rather take something that's unused and define it instead with my own identity. And I'm happy with what I picked, right? Like, not even the famous part. Like, there's a reason for that, and I'll explain it. But just like birds, like, I don't know anyone else who has that specific name, and I've been able to come up with my own definition of it. That's just like being birdsy means a thing to me. Like, maybe not for everyone, but like, I know what that means, and I made that word mean something. So in that regard, I just like it. I'm not like, I don't own any birds. I like birds. I often feel like birds are more interesting as a flock, which is often how I feel like I'm dealing with my own brain, which is that there's just a lot of stuff going on, and when they're all working together, it's fucking unstoppable. And when it's scattered or distracted, it's just like 10 different birds flying in 10 different directions. I needed something that wasn't claimed on all the various systems, so I could just go on Gmail and get famousbirds@gmail. I could go on Twitter and get twitter.com/famousbirds. I needed something that was easy to spell and that you could specifically tell people and they could hear it and not forget it and be able to spell it correctly. So I don't need to write it down for you or anything, or you remember that there's some underscores or whatever. Just like I can just say, yeah, I'm Famous Birds, and you will always remember it and you'll always be able to find me. You can Google me, no problem. Had to check all of those boxes as a functional nickname. So that's what it was. I would say Gorilla Golf is a fantastic name in that regard. You make it mean something, and it's real fucking easy to Google. No one's going to forget it. Mm-hmm. There you go. Famous Birds.
Fair enough. Brother Elijah, one of our mods, actually asked, I don't think you guys have covered this yet, but in D1 you had a Mobius, Susanu, Ace of Spades, etc. D2 only really has the swords for class weapons. What would you create as a new class weapon for D2? Can be for any slot and also legendary or exotic.
Interesting question.
It is.
I would probably do a foundry weapon for each character. I would do Weist for Hunter, I would do Haka for Titan, and I would do Omelon for Warlock. I feel like they just kind of fit there. I feel like Titans having a really dope Haka hand cannon would just be cool. Something Titany, like a hand cannon that can shoot through Titan shields or something like that. Yeah. For Hunter, I just love Weist weapons, and I specifically use them on my Hunter because I just feel like they fit together well. Like they support the sort of dodge and all that play style. I would love a Weist. Actually, I would do a hand cannon for everyone. That's what I would do. I would have a Weist hand cannon, and it would be spooky and scary, and it would sound cool, and it would be lightweight, fast firing for sure, and just like of that. Keep unloading bullets down the range, get that little mobility boost with lightweight. And then for the Warlock, it would be an Omelon hand cannon, a juice box, as it were. And I don't know. Yeah, what would be the Warlocky thing to do there? Maybe just like something that gives you, for that gun, like the same perks as Ophidian aspects. So like while you have it equipped, you get a melee boost. So I could feel okay running something other than Ophidian aspects on my Warlock.
Totally fair.
Wow, I did not know the answer to that until you just asked it. I guess that's what I would do. Go figure, right?
Do I have any on Twitter? I think I have.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I mean, Slapshot Scott from the Barely ADS. They asked. He asked, "What is the best class, and why is it Titan?"
Okay.
Also, when are you coming on Barely ADS so we can learn to get good? I think you already covered that too, right?
You should just ask me and find out.
Do what Buster did.
Do it on DMs though. I won't have any interesting conversations in public. I prefer to have them all on DMs. But DM me and we'll have a real ass conversation, and we will both find out when I'm coming on your show. Maybe never. Maybe tomorrow. Depends how that conversation goes.
Badger is OP. Asks, drunk birds or sober birds? This is important.
Hi, Badger. Badger really fucks shit up for me because here's the thing, like, I don't really drink. Like, I drink when I travel because when I'm on the road for work, like, I just can't get a beer in me fast enough. But, like, in my day-to-day life, like, I just don't really drink. Like, I like booze. I like drinking. If I go out and party or whatever, I'll drink. But, like, it just doesn't fit into my day-to-day. And nothing against it. Like, I'm on straight edge. Definitely not straight edge. But it's just, like, not my shit. And in one episode, like, I just happened to be in Atlanta. And the time difference fucked with me because it's 11. They normally record at 8 Pacific, and it's, like, nice and early, and I've got my head on straight. Versus being in Atlanta, having just gone to, what's that, like, have you guys seen, like, the driving range where there's, like, targets that you try and hit and stuff? I had a burger with macaroni and cheese on it and, like, 5 beers. And then, like, I had an hour to kill before recording the podcast. You record your podcast a little too drunk one time, and now everyone thinks you're an alcoholic, but really you should just know that's not my thing at all. I'm always sober when I'm talking on a mic, except for that one case. And my drug of choice is definitely not alcohol. It's definitely something else, but people don't seem to put two and two together. I think
it's Hot Shots Golf. I think that's what you're thinking of.
Oh, it was a different. It was that kind of thing. It was a different name. Driving range where you try and hit targets. Atlanta. Can I just say I love Google?
Yeah.
Top Golf.
Okay.
Top Golf. I fucking love it.
Dr. Zero Hour asks,
"Hey, Dr. Zero.
What weapons are you looking forward to exotic masterwork first?"
Ooh, okay, good question. 0 Hour has been hanging around CR since the beginning, and I'm always so excited to hear when he pops up. That is a good question. I had to pull up the exotic list. I will say of the ones we don't know about, because like Sturm is going to be nutty. We all know it.
Oh yeah.
There you go. I, I, I will say of the ones we don't know about, because like Sturm is going to be nutty. We all know it. There you go.
Oh yeah.
There you go. 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 There you Prospector I'm interested for. We talked about that one.
Yeah.
Crimson I'm excited for. We know about that one. Risk Runner I'm excited for, and Sunshot I'm excited for. I generally prefer primary or energy exotics. I don't like an exotic power because that was just like all of D1 for me after I switched to Eos Luna. Yeah, I like an exotic primary that can hang, and I feel like some of these will be getting cool. The others seem fine. I'm excited for all of them, but like, yeah, I guess if I had to pick one, it would be Sunshot. Actually, I want to see what they do with that. If they do something with that, we'll see.
And finally, of all the questions, from Subcult619, what was the worst or best thing that has happened in your real life, directly or indirectly, because of Destiny?
Good question. Wait, did you say the best or worst?
Yes.
Best or worst.
Yes. The best or worst.
I think the worst version of the question is more interesting. I don't know if I have an interesting answer for it. I'll answer both. The worst thing that Destiny did in my real life was existing and sucked way too many hours of my life into it. Because like I'm like, I don't even really think of myself as a gamer. Like, if this makes sense, like I just play Destiny. Like I play other games for a minute. I get bored with them. I go, okay, that's the thing, and then I move on. Until like, and there's only ever one at a time until a game comes along that sucks me in and destroys me. This was Destiny. Before that, it was Borderlands 2. It's been Dwarf Fortress. It's been RimWorld. It's been a number of different games over the years that just consume me. Civilization. All the Civilizations have done that to me at one point or another. So yeah, like just like game addiction in general, like being stuck playing a video game when I should be doing something else. That's probably the worst thing. The best thing by far is the friends, and like just specifically just like chat, like just having a group of people that get me inside and out, and who I can be 100% unfiltered, my most birdsy self with all the time without having to explain myself, and just talking to them every single day is a unimaginable gift. It is the up there top 3 best thing that has happened in my life, and that I couldn't imagine living without at this point. So yeah, that, no question.
And do you have any other questions for somebody who slid in your DM, Des? Do you have anything, or can we bring up the what else we're doing, what we're watching, what we want to watch?
I think we can move on, because I think that's the end of the well.
That was a lot of questions.
It was.
I enjoy that.
It's always nice whenever the revolution comes out of the woodwork, as they normally do.
Oh yeah,
or as they can. But yeah, it's very nice.
So, Birds, what shows are you watching, man? Like, what's any movies that you watched recently? Any shows that are starting or have started that's getting your attention?
Oh yeah, we just finished watching all of Mr. Robot. I don't necessarily think it's my favorite show that's ever been made, but I have a lot of trouble. If you look at it as a whole, so all the way through to the end of season 3, like it might be the best TV show ever made. It might be the best. Like the way it is informed by all these other shows and is thoughtful about them, the way they abuse the unreliable narrator thing, just like the fucking storyline of a hacker with issues who changes the shape of the world. And just season 3 as a whole, like season 1 is good, season 2 drags a little bit, and then season 3, every single episode feels like a series finale. Like they're all just like breathless ending episodes, and it's every episode in the fucking season. It might be the best TV show ever made. So yeah, Mr. Robot's fucking me up. I don't know. Have you guys seen that one yet?
I have not.
I have not.
Okay, watch it. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay. I do have.
I really like. We watch a lot of TV. I like watching TV. Probably we watch a lot more TV than movies at this point. I'm a huge fan of The Good Place on NBC. I think it doesn't get enough credit for just being like funny, just like dense funny. I love the story. I love the way they're playing with it, and God, I'm so bad with names.
I have seen The Good Place.
The Good Place did a thing for me that was like long overdue, which is make me fall in love with Kristen Bell, because I never watched Veronica Mars, and I'd only seen her in like Getting Over Sarah Marshall, or Forgetting Sarah Marshall or whatever, and like always thought like, who she thinks she is, she thinks she's so great. And then I just like saw her in the show and it's like, oh no, she's delightful. She's the best. The whole cast is so good. Ted Danson's incredible. William Jackson Harper is incredible. And also, I won't say that. There's somebody at Bungie who is, as far as I can tell, the video game version of Chidi Anagonye to a degree that's comical. They're also like delightful. I love that. Movie wise, I don't know. I'm excited for Venom. Trailer looked cool, and I always like Venom, the canon. I like the anti-hero thing.
Yeah.
I don't. I guess I talked about it. We talked about it on the bonus pod. The movie Annihilation. Recently with Natalie Portman, I thought it was a good movie, but that like the books that informed that and just that author in general, I obsessed over as I was reading those books. Like immediately became one of my new favorite authors, and I thought they did a surprisingly good job with the movie of capturing it.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know. I like sci-fi. All the new sci-fi stuff, even the bad stuff. Like I'll watch all of it. I like it. I like the good stuff. I don't like the bad stuff, but I just like sci-fi.
The bear scene fucked me up.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing, right? Like the bear scene. This author Jeff Vandermeer. That book is in almost everything. That bear is in almost everything he's ever made. That bear has so many different names, whether he's Seether or Threeper or Mord, or like he wears different names, he's different sizes, he has different origin stories, but as a like existential monster, he shows up over and over and over again in all these fucking books. And is scarier every single time. Like I recommend the book if you want to get into Jeff Vandermeer. Like the Southern Reach trilogy books are great, but there's one called Born, Borne, that was his newest novel, and is some weird ass sci-fi body horror, absurd fantasy, also featuring a particularly large version of that bear, Yeah, it's good, man. It fucked me up. It's weird and scary and uncomfortable and a page turner. And you will know from 3 pages in, like, what the fuck is going on in this book? What the fuck is with this giant bear? He can fly? He didn't need to fly. He's bad. Oh, fucking great. Don't give him wings. He's scary enough. Yeah. I could talk about sci-fi that no one has ever fucking heard of all day. That's my jam. I'll pause. What about you guys?
Did you got anything new?
I've been searching around Netflix for a few things to watch. I mentioned last week I rewatched through the entirety of One Punch Man because it's funny.
I never watched that one. I just read the Wiki pages and watch clips, and it still does it for me. Like I'm getting what I need to get.
That's hilarious. What else? Caught Lost in Space.
Oh, I was I don't know if it's actually good or not, but it was surprisingly fun to watch.
It was.
I enjoyed it.
Like I say, yeah, I haven't really formulated they did well, I think, but I haven't quite formulated a full opinion. Yeah. I think they did well with making Smith a thing that I'll try and avoid spoilers for. I was about to say something. But yeah, she's a thing that they did well with, I feel.
I would agree. Well done. Leave it at that.
Yeah. It's like I was about to do it too. It's like, wait, no, that's yep, okay. God, what else did I watch? Oh yeah, just today I rewatched Speed Racer, the movie.
Yeah.
I never saw that one. Was it good?
Oh, it is so underrated. It did not
really.
It was a box office bomb. It was a flop. It was awful, but it's done by the Wisniewski. No, not Wisniewski. Jesus, Wachowski. There we go. Jesus. Those W names. Holy crap! But anywho, yeah, the Wachowski siblings. It's just a faithful rendition of the Speed Racer from the 70s. Like the original Speed Racer. It was a really faithful rendition of that. So it's goofy, it's kooky, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's still very narratively told well. But it's just very well done for like the original Speed Racer, essentially. It fits that like era and trope very, very well.
I appreciate that. I'm going to go watch this.
But yeah, like I said, I've always felt it was underrated because of that, because people, I guess, were either trying to like compare it to like some of the newer Speed Racer stuff that came out that, you know, of course, changed everything and like just didn't get like the humor that some of the stuff was poking at, or even the most off-putting thing about it is that they do use like a heavy amount of CGI, and it just looks. It kind of reminds me of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and like the CGI just kind of looks weird when there's real people so integrated into it.
Yeah.
So it has that can visually put you off, but other than that, like I said, it's very faithful rendition of just classic Speed Racer.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I've been watching. Jesus Christ, I'm addicted to this show. Altered Carbon.
Oh yeah.
I'm on my 5th watch through.
Woo!
Oh, I got the wife to watch that. I actually watched it with her. Yeah. She loves it.
It's fucking great, right?
She agreed with like a lot of my things about it, and it was just like very interesting, essentially. And she is now sad. She actually, hilariously, she started watching it because I reminded her of it. She watched all but the last episode that day.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
And then woke up and started watching it, and she's just like, huh? I'm like, what? This is the last episode? Like, yeah, it is.
It's a burner. The 3rd season of Into the Badlands on AMC has started, and I've loved that show since the first episode. It's over the top wushu martial arts in a post-apocalyptic world. It's really fucking great. The Expanse on Sci-Fi. It's obviously sci-fi.
Yeah, I'm into that shit. I tried first with the books, and like the first book just didn't grab me. I kind of wrote we'd watch like one episode of the show, and I kind of wrote it off. And then we went back and like watched the second episode, and then we watched every single episode like exclusively every night from that point on. Nice. It's so cool. I love what they did with it. It's fun.
I'm only on the 3rd episode, so I appreciate you not just throwing stuff out. I'm like, hey man, don't God of War that for me. Because someone let loose like most of the God of War, the new God of War remake, like all the platforms. I'm like, hey, Dick.
That's so sad.
I will give you a major spoiler for The Expanse. It's good, and I like it, and you should watch it. You will enjoy it.
And I will.
Yep. Also, speaking of God of War, to anyone that's listening, if you even plan on trying it, don't watch it. Just don't watch it. Don't do it. Just play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just play it. Like, I'm watching it because I can't afford it right now. But even now, I'm kind of regretting. It's like, oh my God, it's like so good. Like, just from even from an outside perspective of not being capable of having my hands on it, it's still such a good experience. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, don't watch it if you have any plans on playing it. Just don't.
I feel like that's just like good advice in general. Like,
it can be
movies, TV, books. Like if you get a recommendation that like this thing is good, you will like it. Then like I mean honestly, if I get a really good movie recommendation, I don't even like to watch the trailer. I want to go in blind and just be figuring it out as it happens and have that maximum experience. So like it's gonna take me months to play God of War. I'm still going to avoid it. I'm still going to have that spoilers embargo up until the minute I start playing it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how I was with Ultra Carbon, and like every watch through, I catch new details because I know what's happening. You know, I know the story that's unfolding, so I'm like, oh, there it is. Yeah. And I mean, the more human than human remakes is always dope to listen to every time.
Oh yeah, and I actually missed, because apparently at one time I missed that scene in my first watch through. So when my wife was watching it, it's like, there's the lyrics. Because you just listen for the lyrics. It's like, this makes like no sense. It's like, yep, there it is. That's it. That's Rob Zombie song, all right? Because once you actually start listening to his lyrics, it's like, what? What are you saying?
Well, the problem is it's cut with the action so well.
Yeah, that too.
And we're dancing around the spoiler. We're not spoiling anything about it, but we're dancing around it so beautifully.
Yeah. And the fact that the person singing it is kind of softer toned in that environment. Yeah. But yeah, it can be a little tricky to pick up. But yeah, it's like as soon as I heard like the basic rhythm and everything, and it's like, you know, listening to the lyrics, like, oh yeah, that's it, totally. Like this is it. Yeah. Which is a very fitting place to put it, like super fitting.
Yep. For movies, I cannot recommend A Quiet Place enough.
Oh man, the struggle of trying to convince the missus to see that movie. She doesn't like scary stuff. If we do have to watch scary stuff, it has to be at home in a controlled environment with the ability to turn lights on, the ability to pause, or to like cover your eyes and like watch through a tiny crack between your fingers. I'm trying to convince her like let me. I got something in like. Let's make it happen, right? Like, what do we have to do to? I'm working on her. I want to see that one so badly.
It's probably, I mean, it's early to say, but it will probably be my movie of the year.
Yeah,
and I've seen Infinity Wars.
Awesome, good for you, Jim. Jim, you earned it.
Yeah,
we're all waiting for you to show up. His name is Jim from The Office, right?
Yeah, that's what I call him.
That's his legal name, Jim from The Office? Okay, good.
It should be.
Yeah. Good for you, Jim. Nice work.
Just like Dwight. Dwight's always Dwight.
Yep, you're Dwight now.
You're Dwight.
That's how it works.
All right, so, I mean, we're hitting right about that 2.5 hour mark like we always do, Des. So, I mean, anything else you want to suggest? Birds, you got anything? Any book?
Anything off the wall?
Anything off the wall?
Anything weird to bring up?
I will. I'm going to give some lightning round book recommendations. These are all for things you've never heard about. They may not be for everyone, but if you think you might like the same kind of stuff that I do, I'm going to tell you what books you need to read. Or let me say this: what authors? If you like short stories, sci-fi short stories, there's a series called the Infinity series. They're all like Engineering Infinity, Reach for Infinity, Edge of Infinity. Fantastic collection. Jeff Vandermeer, I talked about as an author. I don't like his fantasy stuff as much just because it's not my deal, but it's incredible. I really liked the book The Wind-Up Girl. That one surprised me. The author Charlie Jane Anders, fantastic. Let's see. I'm just like scrolling back through my Kindle history here. Actually, hold on. Let me go grab my Kindle. I will be right back. I've got something.
All right, no problem. As we sit here and patiently await the return of the birds, as he runs and gets his Kindle.
It's Fred Saberhagen. Is that who you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I knew it was Saberhagen, and last time I was at the bookstore, I was like,
"Oh yeah, he's gonna be super obscure at a bookstore, man."
Saberhagen.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, he's gonna be super obscure in a bookstore. His wife has been managing his estate to get a lot of his. Actually, I think all of his books right now into Kindle as ebooks. So. He can't be found there.
Okay.
All
right. There he is.
I'm back. I'll give you a couple more. I talked about this one in the last Birds episode. It's called Parable of the Sower. It is an extremely important book for everyone to read, more relevant now than ever, and a great gripping sci-fi story. I I generally don't like his stuff because it can be a little bit fluffy, but Walk Away by Cory Doctorow I thought was maybe a little bit unrealistic, but fantastic and a good model for how to survive this next weird part of the future. And then also this book, I don't know if I actually like this one. It was good. It was a fine read, but it's just one of those books I keep coming back to. It's called The Affinities by Robert Charles Wilson. And man, that one really got me thinking. Also, this is not sci-fi. This is a book about like an instruction manual for the human body that seems a little foo-foo. It is not. It's about the Alexander technique. It's like a thing that actors and dancers learn to use their bodies well. Applies to athletes. It applies to people who sit in desks all day. This is the best book I've ever found. I'm just obsessed with it right now. It's by an author named Missy Vineyard, and it's called How You Stand, How You Move, How You Live. This book will change the way you see the world, and everything in it is true, which is a weird thing to say because that's rarely the case. Also, I'm obsessed with Seth Abramson on Twitter. I think he's doing important work and is setting the stage for what good journalism looks like in the future. These are my hot recommendations.
Very nice, very nice. And of course, I will have one for you. Considering you did say you like science fiction,
yes.
Because like I was just telling Buster, he's kind of obscure because a lot of his science fiction was in the 70s, 80s. Fred Saberhagen.
Fred Saberhagen.
Yes, he did. His science fiction series is known as the Berserker series.
Yeah.
It is like it's basically a series of like short fictions that it's like humans that have found this sentient machine race that has been designed by some long forgotten forerunner race to exterminate they ended up something going haywire or whatever, and they're now designed to exterminate all organic life.
Fun.
So it's like so that's the science fiction stuff. Like he's always author I suggest to people. Because he just has a large, variety of books. Because he has the science fiction in the Berserker series. He has a historical fiction set based around Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
And hilariously, the first book in that is called The Dracula Tape, where literally, in the setting of Bram Stoker's Dracula, he kind of points out Bram Stoker's plot holes with Dracula the character.
Fun.
So it's that I actually read the Dracula tape and it's hilarious. It is great. And then he has this weird kind of post-apocalyptic fantasy series. It's like his Book of Swords and his Empire of the East books. It's literally like thousands of years in the future, but our technology is like old world magic now, and magic is an actual thing. So it's this weird mixture of technology you're familiar with, but it's like ancient to them, and like kind of this weird medieval fantasy setting, sort of. Very weird, but very interesting reads, all of those.
All right. Well, I just bought Berserker Book 1 on Kindle literally this instant. So
nice.
Better not have steered me wrong.
I hope not, because I own at least 7 of the Berserk books on Kindle.
Nice.
And I loved them all, so.
All right. I can't wait to dig in. I've been looking for a new series. I actually, I'm reminded, I have one more recommendation. This one is just, if you don't want some crazy mindfuck weird birds book and you just want like a really good standalone sci-fi book that's like good for a vacation, or you're going to read on a plane, or you just want something fun that is hard to put down, Sea of Rust by C. Robert Cargill is so good. It's a post-apocalyptic robot western.
Ooh.
That's what it is. And it's exactly what it sounds like, and it is way better than you thought that could be. It's good. It hits all the robot notes. It hits all the Western notes real hard. It hits the post-apocalyptic stuff. It's just really fun. I liked it.
Very nice, very nice.
So, Birds, thank you so much for being on the episode 101, the first episode of our, I guess, march towards 200. I guess that's the next big step.
All right.
I mean, I would say 104 is the big one, right? But
I was about to say, it's like the big one's right around the corner. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people put weight on like the round numbers, but screw that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me, guys. This was honestly, this was a blast. I love talking with you guys. So, yeah, let's keep it going. We got to talk again soon.
I say this to every guest. You're always welcome to come on.
Yes.
But since you said that, you just opened the floodgate.
Oh yeah. We'll be. We might be annoying you sometime soon.
DM me. You never know what can happen. I honestly don't know what might happen. Just DM me. We'll see.
So for the people who don't know who you are or where to find you,
like, so what's wrong with them?
Yeah, number one, give everybody your plugs. Plug away.
Hi, I'm Famous Birds. I do a show called Crucible Radio. I think it's pretty good. That's all I've ever wanted out of it, is something I personally would enjoy, and other people seem to like it. You can find it at crucibleradio.com. Follow us on twitter.com/crucibleradio. If you want to see what I post about Destiny on Twitter, which is not much, you can follow me at twitter.com/famousbirds. If you want to see all of the other stuff that I specifically keep out of my Twitter feed, I have just started a new Twitter account that is all the weird comedy, snarky, political, fun Twitter garbage that's out there. That has 0 followers currently. But I really try and curate a good selection of retweets and some real hot takes. And that is twitter.com/birds, followed by 5 underscores. I'm not super proud of that one, but that's what happened. So you can check me out there too.
Fair enough. Can we see any more stabs at rye bread companies in the future? Or
man, my whole bread situation is all fucked up. I've been buying rolls recently. I don't even know what's going on. And also, hey, I'm getting old and fat. I should not be eating bread in the first place. I'm just eating tortillas or something now. I don't know.
Just go ahead, buddy. Tell everybody where they can find you.
This has been Raven. You can find me on Twitter at DES_Raven, which I only have that again because no underscore was already taken. Screw that chick that happened to take that before me. But anywho, you can find me on PS4, DES Raven, no space, no underscore, one cohesive wording, and please make sure I know where you're coming from, because playing Destiny, I do get a lot of random tower friend requests.
Yeah, say hi first.
Say something. That way, I don't think you're one of those people.
The old randos, which is all humans until you get to know them.
Exactly.
And you can find me, Buster Knuckle, at Twitter, at BusterKnuckle13. It's the same for my Xbox, BusterKnuckle13. You can find me on PSN at BlisterLister113. I know, the worst PSN ever. You can find this podcast, the RNGCast, at the RNGCast on Twitter. You can email us, the RNGcast@gmail.com. We'd actually love to hear from you. We have a Discord. I think we fixed the Discord link invite that's pinned to our Twitter. If it's wrong, let us know. We'll send you one personally. We have a Patreon. We recorded a Patreon episode of Des and I doing the Mystery Science Theater thing over top of the original Mortal Kombat movie. And tomorrow morning we are doing another one for you guys, for the patrons, I should say. I don't know what we're doing yet. Des and I haven't discussed that. That probably be most of the episode. But if you want to hear us talking craziness about a movie that might be terrible, the first one was absolutely dreadful. You can find that patreon.com/TheRNGcast. At any level, you will get access to those exclusive episodes. We appreciate it. We love you guys. This is episode 101 of the RNGcast. We're out.
Later, man.
Bye.
See you all next week.